right, we got Sean Nasiff here to join us, who is a man of many, 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 many things. Wendy Williams, he's been with Will Smith, Chris Rock, just to name a few. Yeah. MMA, you're doing the rehab with Jayson Williams from the NBA. So thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Hey, Tom, thanks for having me, man.
So you're born in Miami. Yep. But you're actually, your heritage is Cuban.
Yeah, my father, he came here when he was like 6 or 7. Yeah, he tells me the story. That's like one of the first things I remember when I was a kid. He told me about how important education is because they could take anything could be taken from you, he said, except for that. He said how Castro's men came by tank and horseback and took everything. And what he told me was my abuelo had enough land. It was so big, it was bigger than the size of what he told me was Wellington. He was like, it was bigger than that. And he's like, and then just like that, he's like, it was the government's, and everyone was the same. And yeah, pretty wild.
So he was hard on you in education.
Oh yeah, it was serious. My whole family on that side, education.
Well, pull it off because pull up what the Will Smith one. There's our boy here with Will Smith.
Yeah, that was at the Bad Boys for Life shoot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the South Beach scene.
Will was cool.
Oh yeah,
I've heard he's really
he is cool. He's larger than life. And the thing is, I thought he was so much bigger in the movies, and it turns out I'm staying a little bit more forward, so we look the same height, but I'm bigger than he is.
I didn't think he would be as tall as you.
Hey,
and for people that don't know,
he's a little shorter.
Sean's 6'4".
Yeah,
a real 6'4", right?
Yeah. But I tell you what, this guy.
Go to the next one, then, bro.
He came over and just gave me a hug.
Will did?
Nicest guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Never heard anything bad. There's Fabulous.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Another cool dude, man.
All in college, man. That was my jam. Fabulous in college, dude.
Yeah.
FABOLOUS, right? Everybody knows that. Yeah. He got himself in some trouble. And then who else was he with? Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Did he crack any jokes for you? Or is it just normal?
Normal guy.
Yeah.
I was at the Tambourine Man, I think it was, stand up at Hard Rock. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You know, Jay these are all of his guys, man. Like, you know, we just go see him, hang out, whatever. It's just regular for him. And I'm like I was saying before, I'm not really like a starstruck kind of guy, but it's like, wow, you know, this is Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, how tall is he?
He's not tall at all.
Am I taller than him?
I think y'all about the same.
Fuck.
Yeah. He might be a little shorter than you.
All right. Thanks for the.
I got you.
Thanks for the plus while we're here.
Tommy's taller than him and Kevin Hart, right?
That's right.
Thanks for the bonus. And then Wendy Williams. How did you run into Wendy Williams?
Jason and Wendy are friends for a long time, man. Back when I think she was on Kiss. That's back when she had the radio show with Charlemagne.
Yeah. With Charlemagne, who's on the Breakfast Club now, right?
Yep, we done that show as well.
You don't have to answer this because I don't want to get you in trouble, but how plastic surgery-ish does she look in person? Just plead the fifth if you don't want to.
I'm pleading the fifth, but I can tell you what, she is not the person she portrays on TV.
I could imagine.
Man, she is so, I mean, I keep saying this about everyone that you've put up. They're so nice.
Yeah.
And they hug. You know, they're like so nice. They're so shy. They're so introverted almost. And it's like, it really must take, I mean, I could imagine, it must take a lot out of them to just turn it on. Because that's not them at all. I mean, maybe deep down, yes, because all you see are tabloids, right?
Yeah.
And then you hear them on TV and you just can't put it together. And then you assume these guys are all crazy.
Yeah, because you would think, you know, from watching her show that she would just complain constantly. You know what I mean? And moan. But she's not like that.
No, she was cool. This is at her 50th birthday party. We were there. We did her show. Then we sponsored her birthday party. And we went up. It was on Coney Island. It was like, it was so cool. It was like Charlie Trelawney. Who was it? Big Daddy Kane, Terror Squad, Lost Boys, all those guys. Yeah, it was cool, man. I got you're up there with Fat Joe, and I was like, wow, we were standing on stage.
Yeah.
And once again, I was like, man, they're doing Lean Back, and I'm like, 2003, you know.
Remember Lost Boys? Yeah. Man, they had some bombs. What happened to them?
I couldn't even tell you, man. I know that a lot of those guys still, you know, Jay, like I said, Jay knows everybody.
Yeah.
You know, without him, this thing doesn't turn. And
he is not 6'8". Jay, I love you, but you ain't 6'8". If he's 6'4", you ain't 6'8".
We always say he had a traumatic back injury, which ended his career, and that's why, you know, he's lost a little bit of his height. So
it's, you know, I shook when I met John Sally, who's coming in. When I shook his hand, they were huge, bigger than his. But I always look at the hands because I used to watch Jordan, and he had the longest hands ever.
So I've been on MJ a few times with Jason, and his hands are big. But then Charles Oakley, he's around a lot. Him and Jason are best friends.
Yeah, who's best friends with Jordan, right?
Right, and that's kind of how I know all these guys.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, another guy we do a lot of work with that's used to be a mentor to Jason was Dr. J. So I know Dr. J.
That's
And
the
now
man,
his
Dr.
hands,
J.
his hands. When you shake his hand, his fingers are going all the way up your forearm.
Really?
They're like up to here. Like he's like very similar to another time. Jason and I we were working out with Kawhi Leonard one time in New York.
Yeah.
And he's another guy. His hands.
Yeah,
are,
his
him
hands
and
are
Dr.
huge.
J. They
Yeah.
have some huge hands.
You can see like when he's shooting foul shots, you can see his hands there how big they are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dr. J, huge, huh?
Yeah, huge. I mean, it's to the point where
We're Philly guys, so
yeah, well, it's to the point where even I think Kawhi said it a few years ago. Their hands are so big, they actually have a hard time shooting the basketball.
It's like I remember it was like Shaq. Remember how big Shaq is, right? He always sucked at free throws.
Yeah.
Why is he so bad? It's like his hand is so big. It's like
a tennis ball.
a tennis ball.
You're like
almost.
shot putting it.
Yes.
Like you can't get the
Weird.
And if you notice, like all the 90% of like the 7-foot guys are terrible at foul shots, probably because their hands are the size of Texas.
I'm gonna ask my man about that. Mike Jaminski. He's an alumni of our program. He actually works with us a lot now at Rebound. He was in our HBO special.
Okay.
He's a big man. He played for Philly early on. The back end of his career.
You know who that is?
And he had a very good free throw percentage because he did not want to be a big man with a poor free throw percentage. He was like, Sean, if there's one thing I knew to maintain value in the league, he's like, anything with the word free in front of it, better take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Free throws, those are free points. And he's
Think
like,
how
wow.
many championships and even field goals in football, which were terrible this year, have lost games just over that one little kick, that one foul shot.
That was this year's Sixers, man. Ben Simmons could not make a free throw. They actually fouled him purposely to send him to the line. That's what they did. That was their strategy.
Well, they did that with
Foul
Shaq.
him.
Remember they did that with the
Hack-a-Shaq.
Hack-a-Shaq. Yeah. See if you can find a picture of Dr. J's hands.
Big.
Big. Who else have you ran into with the company that you guys developed, which we'll get into all that.
Man,
Great
I
company.
mean, we run into everyone. I mean, it's all, like I got to say, Jason makes this thing turn. He knows everyone. I mean, he was at the top of the world before his accident, really. And, between being the highest paid player in the NBA, I think he broke a record. He had his own halftime show.
Was he the highest player?
At one point, yeah. At one point he was. After the 98 All-Star game.
Yeah.
Yeah, before his injury.
What was it? I was young. I forget what happened to him.
Him and Marbury, they went up for a rebound, and when he came down,
Stephon Marbury.
yeah,
right?
Marbury landed on his after the lockout season. So everybody's kind of just like now, the shortened season. Everyone's kind of out of shape.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries, and they both went up, came down, and when Jay landed, Marbury landed on his leg, and it was a compound fracture towards the knee and both bones. So yeah. It was pretty rough, and it's like when you're back then. I mean, I hate to say back then, but 98's back then now.
Yeah.
You get a compound fracture, and that's that. Especially you're a big guy, and you play the way he played. He was so aggressive.
Yeah.
The 90s basketball, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you went in the lane, you were going to take a beating. Oakley, John Stark,
Yeah.
he would hit you. I mean,
Bill Lambier.
Bill Lambier. Yeah, the Pistons.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wanted to play the Pistons.
Yeah, no one understood that until they watched this
then
Jordan doc now.
And then Isaiah Thomas says, hello, Sean, right? Like he's the nicest guy, but really he's a dirty.
I met Isaiah. Yeah.
He's real nice in person.
Regular, yeah.
Yeah, but on the court, he didn't mess around.
But that's how it's supposed to be, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
nowadays, thanks to social media, everyone's best friends. Everyone plays AAU
I
basketball
can't
together.
stand it. I
so.
can't stand. Look at his hands. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you weren't lying. Look at it. Go to the
Looking.
the first one, the very first one.
Oh, that's
Oh, who's that?
Oh, Spencer Haywood.
Spencer Haywood.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's my man, Spencer Haywood.
Man, I met Dr. J. I met him at a Kobe Sixers game in Philly because I was a huge Kobe fan. I didn't get to shake his hand. I just said, "Hello, sir. Congratulations." He don't care about me. I just had good seats.
There's Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, his hand, look how big his hand is on that ball. Look at his
Yeah.
hand on the ball.
They're huge. And right there's Dr. J and Jordan. Down. Left, right there. Dr. J has bigger hands than Jordan. See if it shows anything. Go to visit. They don't really tell you anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those dudes. And that's you got to be built a certain way to play that sport, and I think that kind of comes to the territory. You can't have small hands.
No, got to be big.
Mhm.
Unless you're Muggsy Bogues, but
Right.
he must have big hands to be able to do.
He
what
does have
did.
big hands.
and that's and jump
Mhm.
like crazy.
I met Muggsy at
Did
the New Orleans All-Star game. The
Did
NBA
it?
All-Star game, yeah.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Small.
He's got some big hands. Yeah, small guy, but tough.
Yeah.
Think about it, right?
You're going against guys like Shaq and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So you're born in Miami,
Yeah.
and they're saying that they blew up that Miami building over because McAfee's
That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep
computer
hearing.
was in there.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. But now you're looking at all these other buildings that are coming out, and you're just showing how poor construction was back then, right? I mean, there was a boom.
Yeah.
There was a boom of building back then, right? And everything. Florida became a populous place. I mean, if you think about it, Miami was not Miami in the 80s,
Yeah.
barely the 90s. So it was easier to build things, and it probably just went up. Kind of like nowadays, you see all those new homes, like those
Flying up.
cookie cutter homes, right, all flying up. And then you walk in them, you're like, wow, the walls are 4 inches thin.
And
And they're 300 grand.
They charge you that much and they save on their materials.
Mhm.
They make more money profit in their
Yeah.
pocket.
Right, it's going to be the same thing, I think, in 30, 40 years from now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when a Category 4 rolls through Boca, that's going to be that. You
That's
know?
gonna be it. Yeah.
That's going to be it.
But the first time I saw a truck where they were like shipping a house on a truck and then
Yeah.
they just like snap it together. Do you ever see one of those?
Yeah.
They'll like ship your house. You buy a plot of land.
yeah.
They ship your house. How can that be stable?
Yeah.
You know,
just
and
prop it
it's-
up, and you nail it together, and that's that.
He does drones. Like
Okay.
he's got he does like drone company for all
Right.
kinds of shit. You ever see those, Rob?
I've seen when they do like historic homes, they'll literally lift a house off its foundation and move it. I've seen that before.
That's so. If you could do that,
Yeah.
then
Crazy.
But see, that thing is a lot of people don't know. Like when you build something, right? So obviously the foundation is very important, super important. You got to build on top of it. But the walls, you can cut some corners there as long as the roof is made well. Because if you think about like cards, right? If you put some cards together, they're gonna keep falling over if you put them on their sides. But the second you lay a card on top, they all stay up. So what holds walls up is weight. So when you do a roof, you take a roof off, you better be sure you did those walls correctly because they will crumble. And that's also what happened. They're redoing the roof in that part there on both sides that collapsed. They're redoing the roof. The second you took the roof off, there's nothing to hold those walls up anymore from the top. So what's going to happen if it's got a bad build?
I never thought about it that way.
Well, and they said that the pool was an issue, and apparently before the building went down, there's some video out there where they showed the garage area and it was flooded, and the pool lost water. So it was already bad, and then who knows if it created like a sinkhole almost, and then.
Well, that's the thing is you could have a great foundation. Everyone says, "Oh, the sand and the beach." I'm like, no. Like the thing is, what you don't realize is it's the draining of, like you said, of the water. So I used to live on 56 in Collins in an older building, but Miami Beach, just down the way from there. And whenever a storm would come, I would evacuate because these buildings are built for that. But I would move my car to a public parking lot, a garage, and leave it there because when it floods downstairs, your car is 3 feet underwater. Yeah. But that water just sits. And like anything else, it's going to make whatever is there deteriorate.
Yeah.
And over time, if you don't do anything about it, and your building's not going to charge you with those monthlies or annuals.
And the owner doesn't want to pay the money, right? I never thought about that. And I actually had an engineering company for 4 years. I won an award. I did the breakers. Okay. And I never thought of the roof being that important.
Great, man.
But, in the engineering I was doing, it was a lot of like columns and things like that, but that does make sense.
Yeah, I learned a lot of this, once again, from Jay. He laid brick his whole life. He was a corner man.
Really?
Yeah, he laid his father. He's been laying bricks since he was 8 years old.
Wow.
His dad's a construction guy. They worked for they had contracts for like the Wolves, the guys that own the Vikings.
Yeah.
And they built a lot of buildings in Newark. And Jay he tells me all this stuff. He's like, this is why you do this and do that.
And we're talking about Jayson Williams, the NBA
All-Star.
All-Star.
He'll tell you stories. He'll say, listen, Sean, I go to shoot around. I work out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I go to shoot around. Then, he says he feeds his animals. Then he'll go work out. Right, and this is when he had the 250 acres or so. And then you go to work out, shoot around, and then he would go to work. So wherever his dad's job site was at, he'd be there, pouring concrete, finishing concrete, whatever it was.
You would never
Right.
think that, right?
And then you show up to the game and go play against Michael Jordan. And he's got
Wow, he would shovel concrete and then go
on
play
him,
against
right?
Jordan?
And then just go play.
Man,
You know, it's just-
we're little girls in here.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Jay.
Right,
I
for real.
watched him. I
Crazy.
watched him
Yeah.
growing up.
It's crazy. I mean, the guy's work ethic. I mean, I used to think I worked hard. I'm a hard worker. That's why I was, I'm not saying I had bad genetics, but I had to make a little bit more than what I had with what I had, make it work. And, and it got me pretty far in sports, and especially while I was with football and fighting. But it's fun. You always think you work hard until you see someone that works harder.
But
right?
and that's really good for you to be
And you're
around
like,
because
yes.
then you work harder.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But how you lay cement and then go play Michael Jordan's for 48 minutes and become an All-Star,
Mm-hmm.
highest paid in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
I would assume after Jordan.
Yeah.
Left or whatever.
Mhm.
That's a man.
It's wild. It's wild.
I don't think I have any nuts anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. So
Yeah.
you do that, then you go to Florida University.
Florida Atlantic University.
Atlantic University.
Yeah, I hurt myself junior year of high school, and everyone knows how important that is for sports. So that was that, and it didn't help.
Was that playing football for the Owls?
No, I hurt my Well, I went to college for the Owls,
Yeah.
but then high school, we moved from Miami up here to Wellington,
Okay.
and my mom was like, "Wow." I was like, "Well, how's their football team?" Mom was like, "Oh, well, they went 6-4, and well, it's an A school." And I'm like, "Oh man, that's a bad answer." And I get there, and we had. I think it was we had some good athletes out there, but what they kept doing is they kept building high schools around our high school because between Palm Beach Central and Seminole Ridge, and then there's always Royal Palm there. So any athletes we did have at our school, they're gone here, because Wellington wants to stay Wellington.
Wellington, right.
So like I said before, we weren't really a football team. We were more of a gathering of men that threw around a football in pads and a helmet, and so it's tough to get a look.
Yeah.
So but I took a walk-on opportunity at FAU, and that's what I did. So
And then you studied psychology?
psychology. Yep. I mean, that was something I was always interested in
Mm-hmm.
because just from training as a kid, MMA. I didn't know it was called MMA back then. For me, it was just like it was pretty much karate and kickboxing with wrestling and ground and pound. I really didn't know what it was, but that's what we called it. We just called it karate. I lived in a part of Miami. It was like North Miami, and then trained in Hallandale Beach. And that's when they started opening up all these Gracie gyms.
Oh,
So all those videos you see when they're going to your gyms and they'd beat you up to show how good jiu-jitsu was, like we were around that, right? So we had to start learning early what ground and pound was. So I didn't know jiu-jitsu. We started to begin to practice what we thought to get some kind of understanding of it, And but yeah, I took on a lot of head trauma, and especially I started playing football like in 7th grade, seriously. And it's like you don't realize what that does until you play it.
Yeah, I did. I did too. I played 7th grade to 11th grade,
Mhm.
and then I got.
Yeah.
Well, two things happened. Met my uncle, and then I got a head-on collision, and I couldn't play for 6 months.
Yeah.
I was a running back.
Yeah.
I was a lot bigger. I wasn't
Right.
this.
But you're about the size of a running back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And you're getting crushed by guys 4 times your size.
Well, I said it, I think yesterday, but the quarterback threw a pass, and he threw it far, and it was an important pass to catch, so I dove to catch it, and it was like right in the middle of traffic. As a quarterback, you never throw in the middle. You just throw it away.
Unless it's your tight end.
Yeah, that can take a massive hit. So I'm looking, and I see the guys coming, but, you're trying to win, you're competitive,
Right.
and I had to reach out and dive for the catch, and when I did, bam,
Helmet
bam,
helmet.
bam, 3 helmet hits, head on, 3.
Yeah.
Big guys.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where I was.
No, not at all. You just finished though.
Yeah.
And you can't even help it. You're just
I
on
got up.
autopilot.
I mean, I laid there for a minute. I got up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where. It's like autopilot.
Mhm.
I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just remember
You can't hear anything.
I'm handing you the ball.
You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Everything's in black and white.
I had tunnel vision,
Yeah.
so it made it really hard because I couldn't
Mhm.
see who was going to hit.
Mhm.
It was like the last 3 minutes of the game,
Mhm.
and I just said, "The heck with it, I'll deal with it."
Yeah.
But it was tunnel vision, and then I got hit again, and it kind of like when I got hit, it got better for some reason.
Well, you learn that that's what happens. Like even in fighting, right? Like in MMA, like you watch UFC, a lot of these guys, that's why whenever I used to rock somebody, you never run over and jump on them but people are so anxious to win the fight. They knock you down, they go bam, bam, they start hitting you. Sometimes you got the guy knocked out, and you run over and you hit him again, and you wake him back up.
Yeah.
So the same thing probably happened to you. You were probably out, and then all of a sudden, it's like you got slapped back into reality with the second shot.
Yeah, I was out laying
Yeah.
there, and they were bringing people out, and I was like, because I boxed too.
Mhm.
I was boxing, and I got a couple Golden Gloves. So I was like used to once in a while you take a crack.
Yeah.
And that's what I got up. I'm like, man, I can't see. And then I got hit a bunch more times. I kept not really understanding where I was, but the tunnel vision went away the more I got hit. It was really weird. But that night and for the next week,
Headaches.
any little noise would be like the worst girl that you ever dated screaming.
It's like a hangover times 100.
Times 100. Yeah.
Well, that's really why I got into psychology though, because I knew eventually one day my brain was going to start to go, and I kind of want to have a pretty good understanding of why I feel certain ways, kind of get a head start on it, and then help people with that.
Yeah.
So
no, I like it. I like it. If I would have, went the college route, that's what I would have liked actually. Because I think it's really interesting too, and I think these big farmers are just crooked as can be.
Yeah. That's why we went the route we went.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things you could take. One of them being modafinil. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's good for alcoholics, and cocaine.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. They have actually a facility in Mexico that's based off of that. You go in there and you learn coping skills, obviously, to get through certain things. But they give you that. It's like the one prescription they do give you.
They call it the limitless drug.
Yeah.
Which I've taken it every day for 20 years, and I've stopped it for months at a time. No withdrawal or anything like that. But what's odd is, and this pertains to your business that we're going to get to, is that when I started taking it was like 2002, 2003, and people just looked at it as a narcolepsy drug, and that was it. So it was no big deal. So you could get 200 milligram modafinil for say $30 generic, right? Well, they realized that it works for ADHD, social anxiety, alcoholism, coming off cocaine, depression, all kinds of things, which would prevent a lot of benzos, a lot of opiates, like the Ritalin that makes people, turn into people that they're not.
So it's like an awareness drug, kind of, minus the stimulant aspect.
Yeah. So when you take it, you kind of get a little bit of euphoria, and then you're just motivated. And if you have social anxiety, it really does it gives you confidence, is what it does. And the way it hits the brain, which you probably know from, it hits the S1 and S4, like in the brain, the antagonist. And even today, and that came out in 56, they can't figure out how it can hit both of them. They just can't figure it out, and how it's not addictive. But to my point is, back then it was $30. If I go in now to get it, $1,200.
Yeah.
Because Big Pharma realized that this could be used for multiple things. Yeah. So now, if we make this available at a reasonable price, now we can't give you Vyvanse, Ritalin, what's the other one that everybody gets addicted to? Adderall. And then you need a benzo to get off the Adderall. Then you need a Lexapro to get off the benzo.
Before you know it, you've got gallon bags of medication in your house. And
the Big Pharma's just making a killing. And then the insurance is paying it.
And you're stuck on it, and then all of a sudden, your insurance doesn't cover it magically anymore.
But imagine that from 2002 to 2013 was when it changed. So 11 years, it went from $30 for 30 to $1,200. That's how messed up the pharmaceutical companies are, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to deal with them from time to time, but
Yeah.
You did play football for the Owls, right?
Yeah, I was just a walk-on guy, and then what happened is after funds ran out, college ran out.
Yeah.
So
it was one of those things. And then you moved back to Miami.
Yeah, I did. I moved back to Miami. I knew I wanted to be in this field. I wanted to apply what I learned in college. So I did a few different jobs. Just some things, put some money together, and then I had like one main goal. So like one of my things I did was I actually taught MMA and martial arts to kids, youth kids, at-risk kids, like at rec centers, JCCs, YMCAs, a few shelters down there. But I would apply a clinical approach, with like awareness, coping skills, trigger response, with movement, confidence, gaining confidence, self-esteem, all with these kids, because they just have the worst communication skills, and it's not any fault of their own. I mean, it's their environment, their parents.
Yeah.
It's funny because you go to certain places where they have resources, and you walk in, and you've got. I mean, this is in 2009 or 10. This is before, and those kids have you got 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds with iPads already. I mean, now it's such a normal thing. So
Yeah.
it doesn't sound crazy when I say it now, but back then I'm like, I don't even have an iPad, you know? And it was just, so I was just trying to bring people more back to here as opposed to, you know, in here or in the future or in the past.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah. So
Now, you were the top MMA guy in Florida, right?
I was one of them. Yeah, so it was funny because it happened pretty quick. I had a fight and
I'm sorry, what year did you start MMA? Because you started amateur.
yeah.
And then you worked up. So
Mhm.
explain
Well,
how you got to
I
where-
stayed an amateur. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because like I said, I trained, you know, I wrestled for 8 years. And then that was just like from like when I was 6 years old till about all through middle school, I wrestled for club. And then I was on top of doing my martial arts, so boxing, kickboxing. My mom is a black belt in judo and
Wow.
and a kickboxer.
I'm
So,
not
like,
messing with her.
Yeah, so like,
I don't want no problems.
yeah,
Sean's mom.
she's a 5'10" Norwegian woman.
And you raised a good son. He's very mannered.
Yeah,
Very well mannered.
yeah. So there was no messing around in the Nasiff household.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's a 6'5" Spanish man, you know, Hispanic man, and none of us, you know, whatever you say.
How was that temper?
Yeah, well, that was when it came out. Yeah, it was something. It was special. It was special to watch.
My entire family is the same way. 1 minute, nice as could be. Next minute, they'll cut your head off.
Well, he's an engineer. You know,
Yeah.
he worked for FPL. Now works for Nextera.
Oh,
So I mean,
wow.
he's into all that, and he's an introvert. Like I said, he's a techie guy. But then
Yeah.
again, he's 6'5".
Yeah.
He's a big dude. And then my other brother, my youngest brother, is 6'6", and my middle brother is my height. Well, actually, he's in shorter. He's 6'3", but he was a junior college All-American middle linebacker.
Wow.
So he's like 265.
Congratulations to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, so I was a little guy.
Yeah.
And
6'4", a little guy.
yeah, a little guy. But yeah, so just always just training. And then my mom told me, Sean, you know, fighting is not going to get you anywhere in life. You need to play a sport. And I was like, all right, well, I guess football. You know, we're in Florida. Football is a sport.
And what are you going to say, no to a black belt?
Right.
That's your mom?
Yeah, right. I was like, yes, ma'am. You know, yeah, playing a sport right away. You know, I didn't want to wrestle in high school. I didn't want to be one of those guys who walk around in the tights. You know,
With the nut huggers
yeah,
on?
right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to be cool, play football like everybody else in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And took a liking to it. And then actually when I graduated high school, I was working with my MMA coaches a little bit. I mean, they were down in Miami. I was up here in Palm Beach. So it was still in me, but I wasn't doing it as much. I was more football serious. And I was going to get ready to play college. And then actually I got a job when it opened in 2007 in Wellington. Actually, coincidentally, Randy Couture opened an Extreme Couture gym in Wellington. I have no idea who Randy Couture is.
Me neither.
Right.
Do you know who he is?
Oh, he's the man.
Who is
Yeah.
it?
UFC legend.
He's like a 6-time champion at light heavyweight and heavyweight. I mean, he was a pioneer.
Badass.
He's like
Yeah.
he was like the Jordan of MMA at the time.
At the time, yeah, I guess. I mean, he could be like, he was heavy-handed wrestler, great grappler, submission wrestling. You know, he was just like, he was tough. You know, he's a guy that like, I think one of his injuries, he has like a permanent indentation in his quad from taking so many leg kicks. It's just like forever. But he opens up this gym in Wellington, and I needed a summer job, so I get over there. I was just a desk guy, right? But then you've got guys like, I mean, to name a few, I had like Hermes Franca back then. Renato Babalu Sobral was back then. And then, the biggest name, Vanderlei Silva was working out there because him and Randy Couture are friends. And this is back when Silva had like a 19-fight rampage in Pride. He was the man, and he was actually making his way into the UFC. He was there every day. So I'm opening up the gym at 5 a.m. to go to work, and me and Silva walked in and was like, what's up, man? You know,
Dang.
and I have no idea who Vanderlei Silva is. He's just this guy. He's like 5'10". He's got no neck, and he's just like this. He's like 220 pounds. And
That's a big dude with no neck.
I was watching these guys fight, and I'm like, man, these cage fighters are crazy, right? And then one day I was watching so much. I was always training and working out, and I'm just doing my own stuff. They're like, you know, they're all training one day. Like, hey, Sean, you want to train with us? I was like, yeah, sure. And I guess I did better than holding my own. I did some good stuff that day.
You impressed somebody, right?
Yeah, and it turns out it's what I've been doing my entire life. it's just called something that I wasn't used to.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like I'm actually really good at this. Like better than football. And my mom was over here telling me I needed to play football.
Yeah.
You know, and joke's on her. You know, so no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And I started to, after football was done, I focused on, you know, fighting full time, and along with my like 4 jobs I did. I was like a personal security, transportation guy, training the kids. I did vending for a bit, you know. What else? I mean, it was just
Just like odd and end jobs.
yeah,
right?
but things I all did myself. I would get some money, I'd buy a machine, you know.
Yeah.
I would teach, train, whatever I could make ends meet. And I was young, man. I was just trying to find a way to make it, and then I turned out being pretty good. I beat a guy who was top 3 in the country, top 5 in the country at the time. I think he was like 4-0, and he only had like 4 minutes of ring time. Like he was just smoking off his guys. Like one guy he beat, and like the guy he fought before me, he beat in like 11 seconds. He just ran across the ring, jumped on him, and just
that sounds like a
mangled him.
80s Tyson fight or 90s Tyson fight, right?
Well, I fought 185.
Yeah.
So this guy was like a champion wrestler in high school, and he was all of 5'11", and apparently he used to be 265 pounds. So he was a house.
Yeah.
And then he cut down to 185 from middleweight to fight. And then like a month before our fight, he went out to California or whatever it was, and he won like the Pan Ams for his division. And I was like, oh, well, this is going to be tough. And then I ended up submitting him.
So now,
I was like, oh, man.
what all do you like for that big of a fight?
Mm-hmm.
How far out do you start training?
Well, you kind of train a little bit all the time. And then, like, I mean, after a fight, you probably take like a week off. That's what I did, at least. And then you're training 5 days a week, but training light. But then after your body's good to go, I mean, you're back at it. I mean, you're probably 2 weeks after a fight, you're back to full tilt. And then you're always ready because you never know. And
like
then,
when you're going to get the call?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And then like normally in amateur level, you can get a call anywhere from 3 weeks to 60 days out.
Wow.
And then you train, man. And
just go ham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you like watching film on these guys like they do with football? You're like watching tendencies and how they, like if your opponent, like whoever you're fighting, you're watching what they kind of do, right?
I try. I mean, in the beginning, I did because I thought it was like a football thing. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to really study this. But what happened is you become like fanatical, right? Like obsessed, and it can't be that way. So I got to the point where I'd watch them once and be like, okay, I see you. And then really you meet them at the weigh-ins the day before, and that's when you kind of make your assessment.
Make your evaluation.
Yeah, but really, I mean, it was to the point where I was training for so long, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I was pretty well balanced anyways. So I'm just going to keep training everything. Just do what I do. If I'm focused on trying to stop what you got, I'm already taking away half of my game. Whereas opposed to, just like in life, right? Like, why are you going to bend and play in someone else's court when you already can do the things you do well, right? And then don't worry about that guy. Just like mind your own damn business, right?
Like, I can kind of like I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Like I don't read the comments on any of these because I do it the way I do it. I don't care if you like it or not. Mm-hmm. You don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I just do it for fun. Meet cool people like you. Yeah. I don't like my other friends. They read every single comment because I don't want to change something that I'm doing the way I like it. And then it messes something up. You know what I mean? Nor do I care what they have to say.
You can't.
Who are they to me?
You can't. The two fights I lost went to decision. The 4 fights I've won were all submission and knockouts, like in the first round. 2 fights I lost were fights I was supposed to win. And those were guys I just looked at too much and just thought about it too much. And all these guys they didn't really fight me. They just laid on me for 3 rounds. Just held me down. And they won by points.
So what do you think? You were too focused on...
I was trying to be almost too much like a chess master, right? Yeah. And it's like, dude, just go out there and do what you do. You knock people out, and you submit people.
So like you thought about it too hard.
Yeah. And you overthink and you think yourself right into a corner, right? Yeah. And then you're stuck.
I'm sure you deal with that a lot in the business that we're going to get to.
100%.
I asked... he's going to kill me because I forget his name. He's the champion of Jiu-Jitsu right now. What was his name, Rob?
Oh, he was on your show, Marcelo?
Marcelo. Yeah. Shout out to Marcelo.
I met Marcelo. Yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy.
Jupiter, right?
Yeah. He's skinny, but boy, that boy can...
He's a little guy.
He can mess things up, boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to grapple against him. I mean, maybe fight him. Yeah, little guy, but you jiu-jitsu with him? Not a chance.
Nah,
he
no chance. He
gets a hold on you and that's it, right?
And the nicest kind of, like you said about like Will and these other guys. I mean, we did, I think, 3 out. Nicest guy, Merry Christmas. Happy he knew when my birthday was. Really good guy.
I met him a few times out with Sean, actually, when I was younger, when I was out. I mean, I was like 23. It was 10 years ago. And he's such a nice guy. Yeah. All those guys, all the guys that are good at what they do, right? There's comfort.
He's small. Comfort. Yeah. He's small. He can mess things up, man.
Yeah, but when you blink, you'll have no Achilles.
That's right. My grandpa used to say, the bigger they are, the harder they drop.
100%.
Not to you. You're only 6'4".
Right. Yeah, that's it. Bigger guys out there.
Yeah. How do you take them hits? How do you take? I ask anytime there's like a jiu-jitsu, MMA, UFC, professional or going to be professional, I can't comprehend how you can take that kind of blow to the head, and not even the blow to the head with the hand, maybe you could take that just from me boxing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. You guys are hitting pretty fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
But the kicks.
Yeah, I've been kicked pretty hard in the head. I mean,
how do you not have a concussion?
You get them. But I mean, but the thing is that like, I can't tell you. I've been kicked that hard. I've been punched that hard. My first amateur MMA fight ever. It was in Miami, and it was for a league that was pretty small, but it fed into the CFA. It's like a big Miami fight league, and it was like a Grand Central Club in Miami. It was like some little dump.
and you're getting hit closed hand,
and
right?
You're getting hit closed hand. But like this fight, me and the other guy were the main event, and we were the 10th fight. I got there at 4. We didn't walk into the octagon until midnight.
I hated when they did that shit.
They kept us there all night, and it was so poorly done. Like our locker room, both our locker rooms, right? So the red corner and the blue corner, we were in a room this size together, and they just separated us with the screen. And we were upstairs part of the club, right? And it got so late that it turned into a lounge. So people right there were smoking and drinking alcohol and like smoking hookah and marijuana, whatever. And we're up here getting ready to go downstairs to fight. And I'm watching my guy warm up. He's watching me warm up. And I'm exhausted. I've already taken 2 naps. You know, I'm like, my first fight, I'm like trying not to get too jazzed up, trying to be cool. I get down there and this dude, he found out how tall I was. And he was like, nah, I'm not fighting 185. I'll fight you 180. Because he was like 5'9". And he wasn't going to give me any kind of advantage at all. So I was tired. I overcut. You know, I cut from like 205 to 180 in like 6 days.
Ooh.
And he would hit mitts like Tyson. I mean, I think from the rumor was, I mean, I don't know how this apparently is a common thing in Miami, but a lot of these fighters come from other countries as professionals and they come down and they start over as amateurs in the States. And this dude,
they're already professionals.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was coming here hoping to knock me out.
Yeah.
And he hit me with a left hook that I never saw coming. I was just like looking at him like, bro, you're gonna have to hit me to wake me up. Like when you said it woke you up, that's literally what happened to me. And like the plug was pulled, saw black and white. But like you said, taking the shot though, I just kept breathing, kept going, like, you know, just tried to stay aware. That's one thing I knew I had to focus on, like what's gonna separate me from everybody else. And it was my ability just to stay right here.
Mind over matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I would get like that, I would just be like, okay, you're going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be all right. You're not dead. You're going to be all right. And just keep telling yourself you're going to be all right. And like you said, you get another pop and it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, now we're going. We're live, right?
Did you end up having a concussion?
I don't think so.
I
don't say.
I would think if you see black and white, that's probably
black and white. That's what they say is when you can't hear anything, it is black and white.
Yeah, when you start to hear the ringing and it's black and white, I'm pretty sure you had a concussion. Did you have a headache the next day?
You know what? He kicked me in my leg 4 times before that shot, and he kicked me like a mule. I was heavy-footed. Like, I was so tired. I was like, dude, like, it's 12:30. Like, you know. And so really I was more focused on my leg pain because actually we went to Johnny Rockets afterwards to get some food on Ocean.
After the fight?
After the fight, because I won. I submitted him like 30 seconds later.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I was sitting with my leg out like this straight. And I was all right, time to get out of here. And everybody got up to leave. And I stood up. And I was like, guys, y'all got to come back and come get me, man. I can't walk. And I didn't even notice if I did have a headache. I didn't know. I was too focused on my
That
knee.
just overrode
Yeah,
everything.
it really did. It hurt. It was like your IT band. You know, all that was all flared up and activated. My knee swelled up like this. You know.
I'd rather get
And
punched in the face any day. Punch me in the
Yeah.
face, but those kicks when you watch them, you hear
Oh
it.
my
You hear
God.
That's how it was.
crack.
That's how it was. It was like a crack. And this is the knee. This is the knee I hurt in high school. It was like I hyperextended it, bent backwards. It was like this much bent, but the other way.
Just
And,
your luck, right?
Yeah. So and he was slamming this leg, and I was like,
And they know.
get a little closer. Come here.
Man, and just keep hitting it and
Yeah.
hitting it and hitting it and hitting it.
Yeah, but
And he probably knew that leg was bad. You know what I mean?
he probably did because
Probably somebody
there's
told him.
always cheats somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They're cheating on camps and stuff.
So like, but again, how do you
Take a
like?
shot.
How do you take that hit and keep going? I understand, but we're not talking one a collision like I had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm watching these guys once in a while, and I don't know how in the world you're taking a knee hit and then a punch straight to the face from professionals that have trained for months to hit your ass, ripped, crazy, and they're crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they test a lot on there?
And the amateur level, no.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't test anything. So I fought a few guys that were, you know, you could tell you look. Because I have some photos of me when I was training. Like I always showed up, you know, peak shape. Right?
Yeah.
And I know how hard I work to look how I look. Right. These guys were freaks. And I was like, there's no way. That's work ethic. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that they would not only make weight, but they would come back. I'm a little guy in my weight class. Not like height, but like weight-wise. So I'd weigh 185, and I would come back I'm like Iggy. What's his name? Israel, Izzy.
Oh, Izzy, yeah.
Adesanya. What his name is.
Adesanya,
I'm about like his build, when I was fighting. So skinny guy, like 200 pounds max. Guys, I'm fighting like 210, 215. So they gained 30 pounds. And you're like, okay, all right, man. Yeah, let's not be obvious,
How many total fights did you do?
So I had 6 MMA fights and I had a kickboxing match. And what thing is that, like, it's a light record. It's not a lot of fights. But when you train since you're a kid, it's like, and then you train at like, especially in South Florida, they say if you can compete in the circuit in South Florida, amateur, you could fight anywhere in the world. We got the best fighters in the world here.
Well, that's all the training facilities down here. UFC, the guy that's fighting McGregor.
Poirier, some ATT. Yeah. I mean, for a while, I was training with the Blackzilians for a while. I mean, I was at Imperial when Rashad showed up with all the other guys who left ATT and made the Blackzilians. I was like 22 years old. That was in 2011 or 12, I think.
Do you know Dale Porsche?
No.
Older guy. He does a lot of that.
No, but like, there's so many good gyms down here. I mean, even MMA Masters now. You got the Goat Shed in Miami. I mean, you got Rock. I mean, you got all these. Round 5. There's so many gyms. Combat Club up the street over here. All the pros are here. Sanford MMA. All the best fighters are here. The weather's great. You could do it. So training was hard, man. Like, you're not an amateur when you're training amateur here. Everyone's like, oh, it's a big jump. It's not a big jump. Like, it's not like boxing. Boxing, you got to pass. All you got to do is pass a physical in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And you get your pro card, right? In MMA, you gotta fight. I think back then, this is 2015. You had to fight at minimum 5 times, win 3 of the fights, and you had to write a letter to the board and the commission and be endorsed by 3 people, and be approved. So it's like, it's for real.
Yeah.
Like you're not. It's
not any type of walk-on type of thing.
Mm-mm.
And when you were in it, did you ever get to the level where like Dana White owns right now?
No, I never went pro. I didn't go. I mean, that's where I was at a point where I could go pro.
If you kept going.
Well, no, I can call right now and go pro. I mean,
really?
Yeah. And I have people that, I have friends like George Lockhart. He works with like Conor McGregor, Tyson Fury. He's a big time nutrition guy in the UFC. I'm in boxing now. He's my buddy. So like, if I was ready to go fight, I just make that call and we'll just go. But I'm doing what I do now. I'm saving lives, and I just went that direction. I think
And you want to be able to talk when you're 50, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've already done enough damage to myself. Like I said, I trained from 21 to 28 every day, and it's like the training is the hard part. The fight's the easy part. You'll hear that's a common thing. Training, fight's the easy part. You show up to fight, that's the fun part. Training. Survive training camp. That's something special. Just like in football, like practice.
So MMA,
practice.
you guys are going full force, even in training.
Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna
sustain
well, not to sustain hits, but how liability? Like, you show up one day and like, coach says, everyone just go half speed. What is half speed? You got a bunch of guys who are all juiced up.
Yeah, right.
Their testosterone's through the roof, and you punch one guy the wrong way, and before you know it, you're trying to kill each other, and you thought, he was going 50%, I was going 50%. No, you weren't. And it's like, what are you going to do? So it's like, hey, today, we're doing it.
Were they doing testing back then?
An amateur level, like I said, amateur level, no. But in pros, oh yeah. But there's so many things.
There's so many ways around.
Yeah, everyone's on it. Yeah. I mean, you got these guys walk around the gym, their eyes are bloodshot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just...
And they got the best doctors, the best everything,
Got A-Rod's doctor in Miami.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's that easy.
Yeah.
It's like what Anthony Smith from the UFC. Did you hear what he came out with a few weeks ago? He said,
"Food he ate." They usually use like, "Oh, I ate this steak."
Oh, I ate a horse steak, or I ate a hamburger in Mexico, or whatever. But no, what Anthony Smith said, like Lionheart, he said when he fought Bones Jones, he's like, Bones Jones failed all 3 drug tests leading up to our fight, the week of the fight. He's like, but when you're on the good side of the UFC, no one says anything. Like, look at Brock Lesnar. You gonna tell me Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar's the biggest.
And he finally got popped because Dana White was tired of his BS and just wanted him to be done with the UFC after that last fight he had. But it's like, you're gonna tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, oh, he's so brave for surviving that thing he's got from his intestines. That's from steroid abuse.
Yeah. Well, I know a guy that knows him that.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Keep going. Why?
That they shot up together.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. There you go. There's
Yeah.
confirmation.
There you go. Boom. You heard
Yeah.
it here first. Not that it was-
Sorry, Brock, don't kill me. Don't
How'd you run into him?
I didn't know. I never ran into Brock Lesnar. The one guy I know from back in my hometown. He came to his private gym when he was wrestling in the area, and he went out one night to the bar. Funny story, real quick. He went out to the bar with Brock Lesnar. They get back to his house. Brock Lesnar's loaded. He's wasted, right? The guy that I know is like 340, big guy,
Yeah.
huge, big guy. Brock Lesnar picked him up, almost like a Lex Luger, like over his shoulders, and started fucking spinning him around. And the guy's like, "Stop, stop!" And then he just threw him down,
Yeah.
just fucking around.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Those were wild times in heavyweight MMA. I mean, because in UFC the weight limit is 265, so you got guys cutting weight to make weight for that. So, and those guys are so big, like we were saying earlier about the NBA players. They're so big, it's easy to put the weight on. Also easy to take the weight off.
Yeah.
So they're cutting from 315, 320. You're cutting 60 pounds, and then they come back the next day. You know, you weigh 265, but the next day you're all of 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And those boys are
It's
big.
unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Who's McGregor fighting? I forget
Dustin Poirier.
he's
Saturday night.
that's not a big deal, right?
That's
It's a big deal. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time.
the rubber match.
Yeah.
McGregor won the first one. He won the second one. So this is
Yeah, it's a trilogy fight.
last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now it rings a bell.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna-
Saturday. I thought it was
It's
next
tomorrow, yeah.
Saturday.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
excited about I think Gilbert Burns is fighting, what's his name? Stephen Thompson? Stephen Thompson?
I think you're right.
Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch. I really don't watch. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
like, when you're, I train, not that I really don't have time, but it's just like, kind of know some of the guys. So it's like, hey, it's good for them.
Yeah, you just watch the clip, see what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
better things to do.
I mean, I love to watch. My favorite guy was always Anderson Silva in GSP. That's where I grew up, right? And then when I was training, when I first started training, I was training with Vanderlei Silva when I first started. Obviously from that story, and those guys in my mind were like supermen. Like I was like, wow, and I look at these guys now, I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, they're just like, they're a phone call away from me if I feel like doing this again one day.
Yeah.
So why am I going to sit there and watch them?
Right.
It's like you watch someone else's radio show, or
Yeah.
podcast. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, why-
Yeah, you just watch the clips to see if he won.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
just watch a clip if Rogan said something cool or whatever.
I do like Connor though. I think he's fun to watch. I mean, I don't think he's the best guy in his weight class, but he's always fun to watch.
Yeah. And then you met your partner in Rebound, Jayson
Yeah.
Williams, NBA All-Star, through your MMA coach.
Yeah. So I grew up, like I said, training down south, 5, 6 months. I had a severe anxiety, like childhood anxiety depression deal, right? Where my mom, because I was like, I couldn't handle any stimulation, positive or negative. I was super shy. I was like, and my mom was like, it took me to the doctor, like, what's wrong with him? And they wanted to give me like Xanax and this and that. Mom was like, no, we're not doing that. We're talking about 1993, 94.
When they were handing out like M&Ms, right?
Mm-hmm. So my mom was like, well, she spoke to her coaches because she was training. She's like, well, I'm just going to bring in my son and you guys are going to deal with him, make him a man. And she brought me in and that made me, essentially close to what I am today with these guys, and they grew up in the same neighborhood as Jay. But, it really, I don't want to say fighting, I'll say martial arts, the structure, like it could be anything if you play sports, whatever, but that part of my life really brought me, it helped me. I mean, I could be one of these guys. I could very much be in my own facility right now, starting Xanax and Adderall, all those things, 6 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. A doctor's ready to give a 6-year-old, medication for anxiety and depression.
That's insane. I've said this a few times. I know a kid, the happiest kid on the planet.
Yeah.
They gave him Ritalin, turned into
Demon.
a complete, like I'm talking smiling, laughing. He was just a hyper boy. You know what I mean? Always wanting to play, wouldn't settle down like any other, 13, 14-year-old kid. And they gave him Ritalin. And I'll tell you what, totally changed him. Like night and day. I mean, miserable, didn't want to eat, hated everybody, fought with everybody, just wanted to sit in his room and be alone.
Get displaced energy.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just being bottled up by a chemical when all they need, like you said, is some kind of stimulation or attention. Put them in a sport.
Yeah.
Put them in a sport. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of times nowadays parents don't want to deal with it. And as we were talking before we came on, so parents don't want to deal with it, so you give them the iPad, you give them the
Give 'em
phone,
iPads,
you
right.
put the TV on and whatever because you don't want them to cry. So, and you know, I do it. I shouldn't do it, but you know, actually, you know.
Well, it's like they
That's
say,
another
you know, hurt people, right?
Yeah.
So like our parents, my parent, you know, I'm not saying mine, but like in general, like my generation, the millennial generation coming up, right? They're raised by people who were born in the 60s, 70s, right? I'm born in 80s, but these people all, you know, like we were speaking about before, mental health is really a new thing.
Yeah.
It was not discussed until about the past 10 years. So you've got people who were in real life situations in the 60s and 70s when drugs became huge.
You were a wussy back then.
Yes.
Now it's like
But
here.
Yeah. So you've got a generation, my parents, their generation, all have been through traumatic things, which that's just life, man, woman, you know, people, it happens to everyone, get over it, right? But they have uncoped with traumas, and then they have kids, right? And that's all the millennials and the Gen Zs, right? And you're like, man, these kids are rough. Wait till they have kids.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just it's generations of uncoped with trauma and things that people are just very down deep or self-medicate.
So you're kind of saying like like when we grew up, if I got beat up at school, when I got home, I got beat up again by my
Right.
grandpa for not winning.
Mhm.
You have not American family, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
Rob's dad was the same way. If I didn't win, I got another beating when I got home.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like, oh, are you okay?
Yeah.
Here.
Well, because how you perceive it, right? When you ever watch a little kid run
Yeah.
and fall and they'll skin their knee and they just look at you. They look at their knee and they look at you, right? And if you go, okay, get up, come here. Come on, keep going. What are you doing? They go, oh, okay. And they keep running. But if you go, oh my God, are you okay? They just start crying. So,
Yeah.
right. So it's how you perceive it. It's what you make the situation. And that is literally how the generations are becoming. I mean,
I got somebody for you to talk to. Huh.
that's what's happening. I mean, and it's I don't want to say that, we're getting soft, but it's just mishandling situations. That's all
I'll
it is.
say we're getting soft.
It's mishandling situation, because everyone's different. I mean, I can't expect,
thing.
but I can't expect someone from a different walk of life. I mean, there's some people that are just better off than we are, right?
Yeah.
And they're built differently and they have a different walk of life. You can't expect everyone to be a badass. There's different
Yeah.
people built for that, right? So their situations were handled appropriately and they ended up being okay. There's no need for self-medication. But then there's people in the same walk of life that they're from that completely mishandled and end up in the same boat as someone else who's homeless, from a project. It just depends.
I think too, it comes with you could be poor, you could be rich.
Happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. But sometimes I think I'd rather know what it's like to struggle than have everything. Like if I was given something, like if I was just born into a millionaire family, I wouldn't know what it's like to struggle. And then if something hit me, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But if I knew what it's like to struggle and work hard, and then I become a millionaire, I think I'd have a different perspective on life.
Your perspective of trauma is different. If everything was always given to you, right? I'm not even going to say, if you're like, let's say you're a trust fund kid, nothing bad ever happened to you, but then, you always got all A's, you go to Yale and you flunk out,
Yeah.
right? That is trauma.
Every trust fund kid that I know that got like millions and millions and millions, you know what they're doing right now at 30, 35? They're in a big ass house with hookers and coke
Right. That's their coping mechanism
and alcohol.
for being unaccomplished, right?
Get up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and do the same thing every day.
It'll catch up. It'll get you.
Just about everyone I know. Maybe a couple did, invested it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, we'll catch up.
There's some people that it catches up either health-wise, because you think one day you turn 40 and you've got a liver disease and you're like, wow, I thought that didn't happen to you like 60,
Yeah.
right? Or they run out of resources, or it's just they finally get clean and they realize, wow, I waste my whole life, and then trauma kicks in.
Yeah. And then that's tough to deal with, right? Because now you have to accept the trauma that had happened. So now you overcome like the addiction or whatever, or the trauma or whatever it may be. Now you have to accept the trauma that you're realizing, so now you're dealing with
You're in the past. You're in the past.
PowerPoints coming at you.
Yeah, you're in the past at the same time of worrying about how you're going to change it for the future. So,
Yeah.
They say, anxiety is fear of the future, depression is stuck in the past,
I had anxiety too. I had in the end of high school and probably 2 years out of high school, I had it bad.
Yeah.
I used to have to pull over and call my mom. I mean, I thought I was having a heart attack. My hand would go numb, shake, and it would, like I get like a weird feeling in my stomach, and boom. I mean, bad. And here I am. I just won Golden Gloves 2 weeks ago, and this little baby here is calling his mom on the side of the road with his anxiety bullshit. But those anxiety attacks they're no joke. I mean, you really think it's over.
I had a guy came to my place.
Shout out to Rebound, and we're going to get all into that.
Yeah, thank you.
A little bit.
But he came to my place, and you know, he was retired waste management guy in New York, and you know, he had a great job, retired. You know, he was set for life. He had an injury, got his foot backed over.
Oh, by a garbage truck?
Truck, yeah.
So
he's set. You know, not unemployment, disability. You know, he's good to go. Life's okay, right? And
drugs.
What happened is, no, not drugs, not alcohol, no. Just the fact that he couldn't work anymore, and just he was never like an athlete guy. Like, so gym wasn't an option. So he went and started a family. He had a few kids already, but just from not doing anything, that festers, right? Just it builds up. And then all of a sudden his mother passed away, and then there was like a few things. And before what happened, he developed, I think it's called agoraphobia.
What is that?
It's the fear of going outside. Excuse me.
Oh.
So he stayed in his house for like 5 years.
Wow.
So he stayed in his house for 5 years. 3 of the 5, he just stayed in his bedroom. He wouldn't even take his trash to the end of his driveway. And he came to us. And that was a mission in itself. And I mean, it was wild, man. I mean, the guy, crazy, was smoking like 2 packs a day. I'm talking about anxiety. I mean, he's outside. He's in Florida from New York. And we got him driving again. He is afraid to go into buildings. So we would go out to breakfast in the morning, and he wouldn't even go in. He would just sit outside and wait for us to come out. And we had to bring breakfast out to him. I mean, we got him driving again, going into buildings, going to events. And now, I mean, we're talking about someone, he's living a normal life now. Granted, he still, like you said, he has to pull over and be like, wow, I'm driving. But through what we do in our program, the adventure therapy, you know, it's literally baptism under fire. Like, your first day there, you're like, okay, so what are you doing today? Oh, we're going skydiving today. You're like, what?
So this is interesting to me. Yeah. So you get a guy, because I have a good friend of mine. It's Rob knows him, Ray. He's really good with credit repair. And he, for years, I don't know if he's still doing it now because he's up in Jersey, but like he will not get on a plane for maybe a year. Same way. He would not leave it. He would not leave the house. He wouldn't go anywhere. He wouldn't drive anywhere. Not quite as bad as this circumstance. It doesn't sound like, but bad. I mean, bad where he wouldn't like go eat. Yeah. You know, and normal, completely normal, smart, but had that phobia. What do you do? I don't want to say the guy's name. Yeah. Your guy's name. I don't want to ask you because it's nobody's business. So what did you do? Like inch him? Did you go inch by inch? Like how do you get somebody so secluded and dead set? Like I'm not going out that door. Yeah. How does your company or facility or whatever you want to call it? How do you guys go about beating that? Because that's a tough one.
So that's the one thing about our program is we don't really advertise. We just kind of speak about what we do, and if people are ready to come get help, they come get help. So we're not banging down your door. We're not like these other facilities that are all over TV. Call us, get help now. Like hey, this is what we do.
If you want it, you'll call.
Come and get it. And like I said, you know, we operate a certain way where we don't have commercials. We don't have all this other stuff. You don't hear us on the radio. We don't claim to have a cure like these places on the West Coast. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And we're a small place. You know, like I said, we only take like 4 people at a time, and it really promotes that family type feeling and atmosphere.
And I believe that that's what works. Yeah. Just the people that I know. I this other stuff is just a scam. Personally, I think most of them.
It's a mill.
But you got to tell me, how do you inch a guy that won't get out of his house? What's the process of getting him to do that? Because I've tried to manipulate, throw money at this guy Ray. I talked to him. He don't care. Dude wouldn't leave, and I needed him.
It's a team, man. It takes a team. It takes a village, really. I mean, it's not like as great as you are, probably. Like you're gonna need.
I'm an idiot.
You need everybody. I mean, you need his mom, his dad, his dog, his girlfriend, anything. Like it's gonna take. It took everybody. I mean, there's so many phone calls. It's such a delicate situation. Yeah. That you got to get them out, and then once they're out, you've got them. And thing is, like, because now they cling to you.
So in this situation, give me the steps you did to get him out.
Well, thing is that he was special circumstance because he had hit rock bottom. You know, his family's that, you know, that's really what it takes. When someone hits a rock bottom, you know, and a lot of times it's a loved one or the law or their health, right? Something happens where it's life-changing and they got to do something or they're going to be without something, without their freedom, without their life, without their loved one. And they got to make a change and they have no choice. I mean, when it's fight or flight, right? You're gonna do it. Yeah.
So he was at his breaking point. So it was a little bit more, not easy, but not like complete hell to get him out. But then once you got him out, it was game on.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is that he had a familiarity with the program because he knew Jayson from like 20 years ago. You know, everyone says they know Jay. Like you meet someone one time, it was like someone you see on TV. I know him. You know, it's like, so, but they were actually friends. And he came in and he just, like I said, small program, the trust happens and develops right away, especially with the adventure therapy. Like, you have no choice. Like, we're all going through it together. That's why we don't call our clients, patients. We call them teammates. Yeah. So, like, our staff, like, we're a holistic facility. So we don't have therapists. We have coaches. You know, we don't have psychiatrists. We have management. Like, we have consultants. You know, so everybody is a professional and the best at what they do in their field. But they come in, and it's all very just, you know, it's not like it's white coat. It's like, look, man, you know, this isn't, I've yet to see a psychiatrist or someone cure addiction yet. So don't come at me with that. Like, it's not rocket science. Let's just get to the root of this together. And, let's work through it. You know, it's just be me and you for 30 days and, or longer. I have people that stay for 90, some that stay for a year, you know, until they get it right. And, man, let's just get to the bottom of this. You know, people are willing to spend all this money on destroying themselves. When it comes to their health, it's like, oh, no. But it's like, no, man, like, let's do it. And when you're that committed to something, it's so worth it. You know, your life.
Because you were that committed to the drug, right?
Or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. You know, and let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. And then there's a sense of urgency now, especially like, you got a lot of people that come in like in the midlife crisis. Like, listen, like your life could change. I mean, the KFC guy, he didn't become the KFC guy. The colonel didn't become the colonel till he was like 70.
What was that story? I only heard bits and pieces about. What was the story with him?
I don't know, but he didn't become, you know, I think his recipe didn't work. And I don't know. It was something I've just seen blurbs. Like he wasn't the colonel until about 67 years old.
Oh, really?
And his whole life changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people that turned it around late, but and still have great lives. And things that people get to 40 years old or 50 years old and life is just beating them down, whatever it is, and they think it's over. And it's not. You know, there's a whole other half, a whole other life in front of you. And just got to invest a little bit. And if you're healthy, you can do what it takes to be successful in the back end. If you've got energy. If you don't have energy, like me, if I don't get my sleep, if I'm not eating right, I work 80 to 100 hours a week. I'm useless. Like, I got to be on my A game at all times. You know, but if I don't take care of myself, that's not going to happen. But I know if I'm healthy and taking care of myself, you know, they say got to put your own oxygen mask on first, right? When the airplane's crashing.
Yeah.
Before you help somebody else.
Yeah.
Same deal. I mean, it's a selfish kind of outlook, but I can't help other people unless I'm good. It's the same thing for yourself. You can't do anything in your life until you're good. All the way around.
Agreed.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, you know, whatever your higher power may be. And it's just, it's a process. But if you have a sense of urgency about you to get it done, you will get it done. I saw something else the other day. It says, if you give yourself a week to clean your room, it's going to take you a week, right? But if you say, I got to clean my room in 45 minutes, you're going to clean your room, right? It's the same thing with your health, right? But what's going to make you do it, you know?
And that's what you got to figure out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What was the water when you first walked in? You said you just did 48 hours of water.
Yeah. So like, I don't really do anything. Like, I don't want to say I don't do anything, but I don't have a lot of time to go like train a lot or compete in things. So I challenge myself different ways. So like I'll do different kinds of fasts or like diets, you know. And so I used to, when I was training for fights, I would fast for 24 hours.
Yeah, I remember that. That sucks.
Well, no food, no water. But the thing is that once again, it became a perception, how you looked at it, right? So really it became easy. So then I started doing it again a few months ago. I started doing it for Lent. I would fast for 24 hours. And it became just too easy, you know, no food, no water, and you maintain your schedule. Because you think about it, I mean, not that we were the healthiest back then, but cavemen, right? We operated at a high functioning capacity, right? We got a lot of stuff done as cavemen. And we only ate, I mean, we only ate like nuts and berries until we killed a mammoth, right? And that was like every now and then.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we can go without food and water. It's more of your psyche, how you're built. So what I started doing this week is on Wednesdays I have Bible study with Curtis Martin. I'm sure you're familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our whole facility does it. It's like
yeah?
group and alumni Bible study. Curtis has been doing it for Jayson for 20 years, but he's been doing it for Rebound since we opened in 2016. And I made it part of my, my spiritual thing, not eat and just do 48 hours of water.
So right now you're on 48 hours. Like what hour
I just came off water at 1:00. I ate my first meal. I had scrambled eggs, avocado toast, and an acai bowl and a protein shake.
And wasn't bad?
No, it wasn't bad.
You fell asleep like usual?
Yeah. I honestly slept better and I got out of bed easier.
Did you work out?
Drank water. Yeah.
Just straight water.
But you just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, right? I mean, if I'm gonna sit there and think, oh, I'm so tired, oh, I'm so hungry,
then you're gonna be tired.
Yeah, then I'm gonna be tired and hungry.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in that hangry thing.
Yeah.
I always talk about that. Like if you're not hangry, you're a jerk.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
You're a jerk.
I'm with you on that, and I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
Even though we've evolved technology and everything else, we're still cavemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your body can handle it then, it can handle it now.
Your body's a machine.
Every little cut is a problem now. I don't know.
It's a machine. However you train it, it's going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, Arnold used to work out every muscle every day. Every single day. But yet now there's like training programs and you got to work out one muscle this day and push, pull.
Scam.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man. Arnold worked out every muscle every day.
And he still looks good.
And he's the best looking physique I think anyone's ever seen. That's why he's Arnold, right?
Yeah.
So
him and Stallone.
Right. So
Dwayne Johnson's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a little bit too.
He's pretty big.
He's like
they
big.
Say
he's like thick.
Yeah, he's evolved from like the Rock into the Boulder.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like he's
yeah.
like he's a big dude.
But yeah, those two.
But yeah, whatever you train to do, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. So congratulations on your first meal after 48.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to eat again. No, but
like is your appetite on rocket mode right now?
It is, but I gotta the part of the psychological training is business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't binge, right? You don't want to be a glutton,
right?
You just continue. It's just like you score a touchdown, you've been there before, right? You knock somebody out, you've been there before. You don't, just because you don't do it for 6 years, and you come back, have a comeback fight, you knock someone, it's like, oh my God, I did. No, we do this, right? Same thing with your diet, same thing with your fasts. Just back business as usual. So.
And just going back quick to the psychology degree. Mm-hmm. What was the most important thing you learned getting that degree that applies? Because like you go to school and 90% of the stuff that they throw at you, you never apply. I never took a psychology major, so I don't know. But out of what you learned there, what would you say are the most important things that you have learned that you apply now today with your current company helping people?
I was happy to learn that, you always learn as a kid, your brain cells, right? You lose your brain cells. You never get those back, right? But what I was happy to learn is that the brain heals. Like everything else, it heals. You can have an unhealthy brain based off your sleep, based off your diet, based off simple thought processes. I mean, but you can change that, and you can change it late in life. It's one of those things that can forever be molded. That's pretty cool. You don't realize how pliable your mind is. Right, but then you go, well, it makes sense because my skull is this thick. It's got to protect that.
And if you don't believe them, I've read it too. I study it as well. NCBI, that's no BS. That's all real stuff. That's not some farm company. Sean will tell you, I'm sure. And it's on there. You if you read the full, report, brain cells reheal.
Well, Dr. Daniel Amen. You familiar with him? He's the psychiatrist and the brain surgeon.
He's got some papers, or
the SEPT method, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has spoken with us about our program because it's funny because he speaks about racket sports and how healthy racket sports are for the brain, right?
Like racquetball? Tennis?
Racquetball, tennis, ping pong, pickleball, squash.
Hand-eye coordination?
Hand-eye coordination, on your feet decision making. It's the healthiest things to do for your body. So the thing is that's just something we happen to implement in our program before we even spoken to him. And you can just completely see where someone is at in their brain when you put someone on a racquetball court. I hate to say it, but but you go in there, you can see where someone's at in their life that day. You would think, the racket's like this big,
And,
right?
and that little blue
And
ball
it's a
against
little
the
blue
wall.
ball. I mean, and all they got to do is just run over and hit it, right? And they can't. And they're in a room, and it's like the ball can't go anywhere, but back to the middle.
It's
right?
not like tennis where it can fly over you, right?
Right, and it's just like, and it's not as difficult as handball. Like up north, you guys play handball. It's not like that where you got to hit that little ball with your hand. I mean, it's not like your hand that difficult. And you can really just see feet, eyes, trying to, where they're mentally at, trying to get to where they have to go. He said it's the healthiest thing for your body, and just how the brain regenerates based off activity, accountability, having passion. He says someone who's accountable to something, has somewhere to be, has the healthiest brain. He says, Dr. Daniel Amen said that his mother has the healthiest brain he's ever seen. He actually does a lot of the athletes, right? Like the football players. Mm-hmm. And he says their brains that's the worst thing you could ever do to your brain. But we'll get to that. And he was just saying his mom always has somewhere to be. She makes it a point to be somewhere all the time. Like she's the most reliable person. Someone who could be relied upon or feels like they have responsibility to somebody will have the healthiest mind, because they have that. It's like I don't want to call it an unconditional love, but it's a care. It's like a need to be there, to survive, to live, to help, right? It's healthy. And it's crazy because it's just such a simple thing.
You never think about it like that.
You don't, because everyone's so damn selfish, right?
Yeah. No, it's true, though.
It's true. Yeah.
Wow. So what was it? Racquetball?
Racquetball, tennis, squash, ping pong, pickleball. We play a lot of pickleball at our place. At our facility, we have a pickleball court.
That's why you think in South Florida, it's like one of the biggest growing sports, pickleball, and it's all old people that are playing it. And I always say, like, people in South Florida, the old people in South Florida, it's a different old than Northeast.
It's like Cocoon.
Because they're active down here, they're doing things. Like, people up north look older and act older. Mm-hmm. And you can have an 80-year-old person down here, and you have a 60-year-old person up there. The 60-year-old looks 150, and the 80-year-old looks like they're 60 because they're actively doing stuff. They have something to do.
Well, it just keeps them moving. I'm sure you've noticed this in your company. Like my grandmother was fine. Her dog died. Just went to the doctor a month prior. Nothing wrong. 2 weeks after the month died, stage 5 ovarian cancer.
Just popped up.
But she was older, and the dog was a nut. So she kept having to constantly chase after the dog, yell at him, feed him, eating things. So she was constantly on her toes. Now the dog's gone. She's alone.
Yeah.
Killed her.
Sure.
In my opinion, killed her.
Sure.
So when my mom's dog died, who drove her nuts, in 24 hours, I had another dog there.
Yes, you did.
I did. Yeah, she's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a guy drive the dog down within 24 hours.
Yeah, you need that accountability.
But then she passed away anyway. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time I saw pickleball was with a guy from Wellington. I'm sure you know him, Glenn Schwab.
Sounds familiar.
He bought the I think it was the Renegade in Jersey, and it was going to turn into a water park.
Okay.
His partner got in trouble. They got in a crash in the Bentley. Jessica Nicodemo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about now?
I've heard the name.
Yeah. I saw pickleball, and it was all old men.
I tell you what.
And skin was perfect. Yeah. At 70, 80, I would go up to him like, can you just tell me what you eat and do?
Listen, if you want to be completely blown away, you go to Delray, right? They have the big tennis center there, where all the pros like Serena and Coco, like on Atlantic, right? Behind that is the professional pickleball club. You want to go over there. There's guys our age and younger, like 25, 26-year-olds. They're world champion pickleball players, and they're young. So, like, everyone thinks it's like an old people's sport. Yes. And I was like, man, I got to leg up on this. I'm a young guy, kind of, and I'm still athletic. I could really play. I could do something with this. I showed up, and you got these 24-year-olds who that's all they do. Oh, you don't have a chance. Yeah, they're kids.
Is it fun to play?
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
I never played. I just watched it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I like tennis more. And ping pong.
Tennis is fun. But I love racquetball. Racquetball and squash.
Racquetball is cool.
Yeah, I play a lot of racquetball and squash, but I got into ping pong.
Good cardio, right?
Yeah,
racquetball, racket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot of fun. But I tell you, pickleball, play a lot of that. But at our place, that's what we try and do is just do activities that are conducive to brain exercise and getting everything rolling.
So at Rebound, when you have a new teammate come in, do you always put them on the tennis court or racquetball to kind of evaluate them? Is that part of the process and evaluation to kind of see where they're at? Or?
Yeah, they don't know, but it just happens to be part of our schedule.
Yeah.
Like in the morning is always 6 a.m. wake up.
That's smart.
Yeah, 6 a.m. wake up. breakfast by 7, and there's always like a morning goal setting. Like it's kind of like a temperature gauge, right? See where everybody's at, how everyone's doing. Gym by 8. If you could do a boot camp or CrossFit, or some people are pretty active. They have their own routine they do. Then from there we'll head back to the compound, the ranch, and play some pickleball. Maybe go outdoor racquetball court. It just depends on the weather. Really see it. And if they come in and they're pretty feeling good about themselves, we'll go right to the outdoor racquetball court. It's hard to play on those concrete. Yeah. And especially out here, it's 95 degrees. So let's see what you got. Normally, clientele doesn't come from the local area. It's always from the Northeast or Midwest. Mm-hmm. So they've never felt heat like the heat here. Yeah. And you really see where they're at, right? Yeah. And then go do adventure therapy. And like I said, it could be anything from skydiving, scuba diving, flying, pilot lessons, boating lessons, horseback riding. We go to Everglades, the airboat tours, alligator tours. We go camping. There was one time I had a pretty young group of teammates, and we just went and rented an RV, threw them all in. We drove 9 hours to Asheville, and we camped. Well, it wasn't camped, we glamped. And that was the coolest thing. I was like,
what's amp to me?
Glamp, glamorous camping.
No, okay,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So
I hate bugs, so.
Yeah, well, I'm not not a bug guy. Growing up in South Florida, we have palmetto bugs. They're this big in my eyes, so I'm not an outdoor guy either. But I did it, and it was so cool. Something we all went through together. But it's a concrete foundation under an awning, and you can set up camp there. But what I did is I pulled up a hammock, and I slept outside under the trees. It was beautiful. But that's the only outdoor part, because your bathrooms, it's like a building. And it's the same people at the place we went to, the same people who built the Four Seasons and Ritz-Carlton bathrooms, built these bathrooms.
Really?
So it was granite, marble floors. Yeah. So you're outside and you walk into a sick facility, heated floors, rainfall showers, steam room. And I was okay, I don't mind doing this. This isn't a big, I'll camp like this.
I'll do that too. That I'll do.
Not so bad.
I'm sure they have the guy come spray the no-seams, right?
That's right. Yeah, no-seams. But the one thing we did have to do is we did the whole s'mores thing. We cooked food outside. And they actually had a special place on site to dispose of your food, because they're the bears will come. So we were on a 250 acre site, backed up to 1 million acres. So who knows what's out there?
I went camping one time, and I was in the Boy Scouts when I was younger, and one of the guys you're supposed to not, if you had food on your clothes, you're supposed to take those clothes off and put them in, it's called a bear bag, and you put the bag in the thing, because the bears can't get to it. Well, he went to sleep with his shirt that he spilled food on, and a bear came in the campsite that night, and it wasn't a grizzly bear. It's not going to kill you, but it was at the tent. So yeah, that's real.
Yes, 100%.
Have you ever seen one on that trip? A bear?
No. We saw tracks.
You saw bear tracks?
Yeah, we saw tracks. Yeah, but once again, things like that though, you'll never forget. And all it takes in a program like ours is an aha moment, right? Yeah. The light switch turns on. Something that changes your view on life, and it's you know what? That's not that bad. When you think you have no control of your life and you're never going to get better, you look back and say, but at Rebound, I went 60 feet underwater and I saw a 14-foot hammerhead shark. I jumped 13,000 feet out of an airplane. I rode a horse, that went crazy and took off running, and I stayed on it. Yeah. It's you have these experiences that empower you. And it's man, I could jump out of a plane, I could do anything, right? And that's what we kind of try to give you, that sense of empowerment back, and give you reason to live again. And some people come down, and we had a guy, we have a partnership with the African American firefighters of Newark, right? And these guys come down, and they're great because
they're working too.
They bust their humps, and they come down. And imagine being a firefighter, right?
In Newark,
if that cat is in a tree, cat's fine. But if that cat is in the water, it ain't happening, because none of these guys can swim. But we take them and we get them scuba certified, and these guys go back to Newark. With their Newark. What's up, man? And they're scuba diving in Newark. That's
right
crazy.
Now, I wouldn't go into Newark without a machine gun.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a rough.
But the thing is that these guys, it changes their whole lives. They find something they like to do, and then they do it. We got one guy just hooked on disc golf. He came down from Massachusetts.
Disc golf.
Disc golf. It's like a frisbee. It's like golf with discs, literally frisbee.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All these little things. I never played them before either. When I was mean, growing up in Florida, it's like pretty much there's a few sports. You've got like, soccer, baseball, football, and whatever else is outside, volleyball, right? But now there's all these other things that we play. That I'm older and I'm seeing more, meeting more people.
Yeah, like
And
Jitsu
play
wasn't
more.
around. When I was growing up, Jitsu wasn't around. MMA wasn't around.
I mean,
If
there
it
was
I
fighting.
didn't hear of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was fighting, but
Yeah.
it was just,
Nobody really knew about
it was like kumite.
Yeah, right. Like
blood sport.
we're both from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it was football. I liked basketball a lot, but basketball, soccer, and baseball. I mean, that was really it. Oh, yeah, and boxing. I don't know if I said that.
Right.
I might be
Yeah.
retarded.
Told me. Yeah.
But that was it. I mean, there was nothing else. It was the same shit all the time,
Yeah.
But it's evolved. It's really
100%.
changed.
There's so many things to do. I mean, we even do like we throw clay, like pottery.
That's cool.
That's really cool. I never thought I'd be doing that. I love that. Like I love going to these. We go to Palm Beach Gardens. They have that clay house.
Yeah.
You go in there and and it's funny. Like, yeah, it's
You're
so different.
you're probably afraid to give them a gun to shoot the clay, right? I mean, that would be fun though.
That'd be
But
fun.
I don't know
That's
if I don't know if that's a good
archery.
idea.
We do archery.
With the bow.
Yeah, with the bow. And actually, we got a guy that came in last year. We took him shooting, whatever you call it. Yeah, with the bow and arrow, a compound bow. And now that's all he does. He goes to competitions now.
That's awesome.
And it's like you just help people find things, and it just happens through the grace of God. I can't do it. I'm not a genius. I got a great team, but just showing someone you love them. I can't get you better unless I love you, right? So it's like, but like I said, that family atmosphere. And then it being such a small program, you're in a house. It's a huge house. It's a nice house. But you're living with someone for 30 days, it's like your roommate. Like, even if you haven't spoken to the guy in 15 years,
You have the memories.
That's your boy.
Nobody can take the memories from
That's right. And you can always call him. And it's kind of the same deal here, that accountability, the trust you build, things that you'll go through and never forget. And that's kind of what keeps our program going and these guys sober and happy or whatever they come in for.
So from an outsider's point of view, the niche that you found is that you're not like, hey, Sean, how are you feeling today?
Yeah.
What's bothering you? Are you okay? Does your nose hurt? Do you have a boo-boo? You take them out places, and the niche it's not like this, lecture all day long. It's you're doing things, and then, everybody's different, and you find what that teammate, that individual likes, and then you keep doing it with them, maybe, possibly, or you just find something to get them into that they have a passion for. So now when they're done and they leave, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, they try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So they do one thing, they like it. I don't want them to get, once again, back into that place of comfortably
Content, right?
Right, and content, complacent.
Complacent.
So
That's what
I want them to be comfortably uncomfortable, out of their, I don't want to call it a comfort zone. I want to call it their familiar zone. I want to get them out of that every single day. We went to McCarthy Preserve, or whatever it is, in Loxahatchee, and they bring out the animals. Yeah.
That dude's got
That's cool.
tigers, man.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's got tigers.
Yeah.
On his property.
Ligers, tigers, jaguars.
Imagine being his
Gators.
neighbor, man. Oof.
Yeah, it's in a residential spot. I'm for whatever it is, Loxahatchee, residential, for whatever you want to call it. But it's on a neighborhood road, and you have like houses, and then the corner is the wildlife sanctuary. But you go there, and you really see where these, you want to see a big NBA guy run, bring out a 1 foot, bring out a 1 foot alligator, bring out a tarantula.
Yeah.
Right? And
He starts to get that NBA speed back.
that's right. It all bounces right back. But we do things like that. I want to see you tick. I want to see what makes you tick. I want to see how you go through it. And because that's exactly your mannerism right there, that's you. And that's exactly what makes you go beat yourself up. Right? And we gotta get to the bottom of that.
That's really cool, Sean. I really like the way you go about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you met Jayson through the MMA coach. And then how do you, I know he had his issue. And then he says that, he wouldn't be anything without you in multiple articles. How do you go from just meeting him? You're just an MMA fighter. You're at the time, you're nobody compared to him.
Yeah, not
I mean,
at all.
it's
Yeah, no, for
freaking
sure.
all-star. How do you get in? How do you go from that to where you're at today? From just meeting him through your coach to this unbelievable situation that you're in.
So I was graduating high school. I got a phone call. I mean, I didn't have the iPhone. I had like a Kia Sarah or Virgin Mobile, pay as you go with the minutes.
Yeah,
right.
or a Razor.
Yeah, no, I wish I had a Razor. I didn't get a Razor, so I went to college to save my money and got a Razor.
Oh, okay.
And it was the flip one, the chrome one. It was pretty cool. But I like that. Remember, you could use to take off the whole face of the phone to change the cover. It had the buttons on it. You could go to this. You go to the mall in the middle of the mall, and you could buy the covers, and you would switch them out. It's kind of like that kind of phone. It was big.
I just had like a
It's
flip Razor.
No.
When the Razor came out, it was like this big deal.
Mine was below that. It was like a Virgin Mobile pay as you go. And I got a
Razor and Nextel. The click.
the beep beep.
Yeah, I missed that actually.
Those were cool. It was a good old day.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I got a phone call from my coach, and he's like, "Hey, just want to let you know, someone pretty, prevalent is going to be giving you a call, just to go over, maybe he could help you out in your life, as you go into college, and your parents are always going to be there. You have a great family, but this guy might be able to help you moving forward with, connections, whatever you need. He's a lot like you," he said. That's my coach. He's a lot like you, and I think he'll do real well for you. He'll help you in whatever you need. And he just kept saying that, and I was like,
why would he want to do that? Though?
yeah, I was like, what? Like, why? Who the hell wants to help me? Right?
Oh,
Right, why does Jayson Williams want to help me?
But I didn't know it was Jayson Williams. I didn't know.
You don't know who it is?
I didn't know. He just says someone prevalent. And I'm like, okay, well, who the hell is my coach? Right? So
Yeah, right.
I see where I train. I'm like, man, this place is a dump.
Yeah.
We train in some little beat up gym with all these crazy guys in it. And like, who the hell does this guy know? Yeah. And all of a sudden, one day I get a phone call from a no caller ID, a blocked number. I'm freaking 18 years old. Like, who the hell do I know that has a blocked number?
Star 67,
So
right?
like,
Remember that back
I
in the
didn't do
day?
that. I just didn't answer it. I was like, why is a blocked number calling me? I only know like 7 people.
Yeah,
right.
right.
So like I call my mom, my dad, my brothers, and that a few friends, and then I get a text from a Jersey number. It says, "Pick up your phone."
It's your coach.
And I'm like, what the hell? No. So I get the no caller number calling me back. Right. I'm like, hello, and all of a sudden, hey, is this Sean? And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, who's this? Like, this is Jayson Williams, NBA All-Star.
He's got the he's got the 6'8" voice.
Yeah. He's like, this is Jayson Williams, NBA All-Star, man. Spoke to your coach. You're a good man, it sounds like. I want to help you. We should meet up. This is 2007. He's in the middle of his trial. And I'm like, but first, I was like, Jayson Williams, because there's like 3 of them, right? I mean, there's White Chocolate. You're from Florida. You know White Chocolate. Yeah, you went to UF. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like a 6-foot white guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this has got to be, the net center. And I'm like, wow, like it just hit me all of a sudden. I was like, all right, man. He's like, I'm going to come down there. He's like, I'm in the middle of a comeback right now. I want to come see you. I was like, okay, cool. So he came down that summer. The same summer I got the job at the MMA gym. I met him down in Miami. He was actually thinking about moving down there because he had a tryout with the Heat and a meeting with Pat Riley, and went really well, actually. And he has a funny story about that, how he ended up admitting to Pat, no matter how well, he was actually in the best shape I ever seen. He's super strong, man. I mean, he could clean and jerk 405. With no form. He's just dumb strong. Like, he's been laying bricks since he was 6.
Well, I'm saying, if the guy can lay cement and play Jordan and be an all-star, I mean, he's strong.
Yeah, he's retarded strong. I mean, he was just like, he just up and down. Yeah, I mean, it was like, and I was a strong guy myself. I mean, I could bench press like 335, like a squat 335. I was 18, and I was cleaning 315, so I thought I was strong.
This guy walks
in.
in.
Freak. Yeah, he is a freak, and I just never seen an athlete like that. I mean, especially playing over freaking Wellington. I'd never seen anything like that. So I was like, and we just had a bond, and he was in the middle of a big comeback, and and then it just turned out. Then his dad passed away, and then
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and then he went away, and we stayed in touch. Always stayed in touch. I mean, when I learned, I don't Google people. I always go based off, like I said, who I meet. And I end up meeting a lot of his friends. And like the people I would meet, like, are all people that are only at where they're at in their life right now because of Jay. And like, he just, something in him. If you've seen anything he's ever done, he's been through a lot. Like you can't spell trauma without Jayson Williams. I don't know how.
Yeah, there's a J in trauma now.
Yeah,
right?
there's got to be somewhere in there. It's a silent J. Because he's been through so much. And he just feels the need to help, and all of a sudden we just developed this great relationship. It was unconditional, brotherly almost. And just and now I'm forever loyal to that guy, Jay. And it's just when he went away to get help for treatment, thanks to Curtis Martin and Charles Oakley and Chris Mullen. They went and got him out of the cabin. He was in a cabin drinking himself to death. He actually bought the cabin from Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, yeah?
And he was drinking. He told me, he's like, so I'm going to this cabin. I'm going to retire up here and get away from everybody. I think I've had enough of the world. He's like, and if you want everyone to come visit me. He's in Roscoe, New York, like upstate. He's like, I'm up here. I was like, all right, man. I know about a cabin. I was like, I haven't been to New York since I was a kid. You know, I have family up there, but I don't really go. I didn't have the means. So I was like, well, Jay, when you get back down here, like, you should come visit me. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you're gone crazy up there. And
what do you mean going crazy?
Just was drinking himself to death. You know, he was drinking, what was it, dandelion wine and moonshine every day.
Moonshine?
Dandelion wine and moonshine.
Ooh.
Sounds like my uncle.
Every day. And then he ended up going and getting help December 27th, 2015. And when he quit drinking, I quit drinking. I just made it a point. I was like, all right.
Did you ever go out to the cabin?
No, I never got up there.
You
He was up
never
there
got-
such a short time. He didn't last long.
Like
Only- 2 weeks. I mean, whatever problems you have, it's like, imagine going somewhere. You know what it'd be like? Taking a kid today and locking them in a room with no cell phone and seeing what they do,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You're just trapped with your vices,
Yeah.
your own mental vices, right?
Just hit the bottle.
That's what happens,
Yeah.
right? And this is a guy who grew up in New York City, Lower East Side, Mr. Manhattan. You know, he was everything. And, you know, and then he thought getting away and isolating, not finding solitude, but seeking isolation. Two different things. And, you know,
And that's
I'd
one of the
drink himself
worst
to death.
things, is that isolation. Is that correct?
yeah, 100%.
Speaking from a guy with a degree.
Yeah. Well, when someone isolates, that's the first warning sign, right?
Something bad's going to happen.
Something bad's about to happen, or they're going through something, and that's the time to reach out. You know, if you loved one isolates or is not being themselves, or there's a character shift or a personality shift, you better check on them. You know.
So at that time, you know, you're talking to him from the time that you're 18. He tells you, hey, I'm going to go out to the cabin and basically isolate myself. Did you have that instinct, like, this is going to go bad, you know, something's going to go wrong, I better keep calling and making sure
Yeah.
it's okay?
It wasn't like someone's gonna go wrong,
Yeah.
but I was like, man, this isn't good. You know, this is not a characteristic of Jayson to just go away and be away from people. And he's a social butterfly. I mean, he feeds off that. You know, that's why he's down here doing what he does. You know, being around people and, you know, all the northern transplants that know him down here. And it's like a mini New York down here. He knows everybody and everyone knows him. It's like, it's awesome. It's like being in New York without being in New York for him. You know, he's just down here in the sun, the beach, you know, and everyone knows him. And he's just, and everyone sees how healthy he is and how far he's come now.
Yeah, he looks
It's a
good.
blessing. Yeah.
He's one of the only like retired NBA players that doesn't really look much different.
Well, when he was at the cabin, he was 320 pounds.
Damn.
When he got out of treatment and we started volunteering at places to learn more about how these rehabs work, right? Because we're going to get into this. We want to know about the business and what it looks like in these places, trying to see how we can make it different and better.
Just so I can follow the timeline. So after 2 weeks, he hits his rock bottom. Is that what happened? And
Yeah.
he calls for help?
Yeah, well, he didn't call. I mean, Curtis Martin and Oak went up there.
Okay, Oakley went up there
And
and
they
just
got him.
drug him out. Drug him out, put him in facility.
Yeah. He tells a story. You could probably find it. He'll tell it where Oak came up there with a baseball bat.
I heard he's a nutcase.
Yeah. Oak is cool, dude. But
I mean, like,
yeah. Well,
can
Oak-
be a nutcase.
Well, I mean, he's just a man. Like, he's just like, I mean, if you want to call it like a 60s term, he's a man.
I feel like Charles Oakley is the guy, like, does he have like the voice of God? What does his voice sound like? I never really heard Charles Oakley talk, but I feel like Charles Oakley's voice has to be like,
He doesn't
the
talk.
voice of God. No? He doesn't have that voice?
No, he's just he's a good guy, man. He's got like a low voice, doesn't
Low?
say much, and he's just it's a man of few words.
He was a badass, though. He
Yeah.
was a badass,
Still is.
man. Yeah.
Still is,
I
like-
won't fuck with old Charles Oakley now.
No,
No.
not at all.
No.
No,
No.
Yeah, he'll have no problem, you know, doing that now either. Like, he walks so slow and so smooth. He's like, hey, how's it going, Sean? What's going on, man?
He almost beat some guy's ass like 2 years ago in
Yeah.
the garden. Something happened.
Yeah.
Almost like,
Dolan, the owner.
yeah, that's who it was.
Who?
The Knicks
Dolan,
owner.
James Dolan, Knicks owner.
Oh,
Yeah, it's back in 2017, I think. But it was but like, you just Oak is just in
Man.
his mind, he's a man.
yeah.
Like, he's just rusty hands, you know, just tough.
Yeah.
You know, he's just, but the best guy in the world. He's not a touchy-feely guy, not a hugger, doesn't conversate much, but
I bet if somebody messed with you, you'd fuck
yeah,
fuck
that's
him up.
right. That's right. But if you're in his circle, if you're one of his guys like Jay,
You're one of his guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just how he was with Jay. He dragged him out, and
And then you stay in communication with him. And then you start looking for, then you get the idea, well, maybe we should.
Well, Jay's idea.
It was
Because I was
Jay's
still living in Miami.
Okay.
Like I said, I was doing the security, the transportation. I was working the vending, teaching training people, teaching kids. And it was just like, it was nothing that was fulfilling. Well, the kids were fulfilling, but at the same time, this was not a good recipe for longevity. And also my own personal mental health was bad. Just like, it was like there was no structure. Like, I mean, I would get up in the morning and go train, at 5. I'll go work with some kids. I'll go move a few machines. I'll go train again. And then I would, I was all over the place. The schedule was never the same every day. And I just fit in training wherever I could. So really, it was similar to Jay, where he was laying brick and doing this and going here. Very similar kind of schedule, but nothing was ever put together. And I made my schedule, so I was only accountable to myself. And it was just times where I was just like, man, like this can't be like this forever. And that's kind of what Jay gave me. He gave me structure, but he also gave me opportunity. But it was only going to go as far as, I was going to help him take it myself. Jay didn't need my help. He could do it by himself. He could chose anybody, right? But at the same time, he's not going to shoulder the workload himself. He's got his own problems, and why is he going to break his own back? So we did it together. He's like, Sean, I can only stay healthy if I'm in this industry for now, And
Makes sense.
And he's like, I want to be accountable for people and help people, and I think in his mind, atone for maybe a few things.
Would this be correct that by him staying in it, he now has the responsibility of somebody else, not just himself, and that maybe kept him, through his recovery?
Yeah, he says it like this. He'll speak to him and say, come down here and help me, help you, help me.
No, it makes
get
sense.
better, right? And it's the same thing for me. Like I'm like I don't even realize how much I work until I have a day off, and my body's like, I have this anxiety about getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Sunday. I don't gotta be up at 4 a.m.
Is that what time you get up for?
Yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
11. That's like 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, I get about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
See, I think it's different. I hate nutrition. I hate the nutrition's on the back of food and bottle, and I hate that. Oh, you need 8 hours. If I get 8 hours, I can't. I'm a zombie all day long. Anything more than 5, 5's my max.
If I sleep 6, I'm Superman. If I sleep 5, I can do anything. Right?
Yeah.
If I sleep 7, wake me up because something went wrong. Like something.
Agreed. 6 for me. 6 is the number.
Yeah.
4, I can function. I can get through 4 for a couple days. 5, I'm on point.
Right.
6, let's go. Right. But I never get 6. It never happens.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
You're up pretty late too, right?
Yeah, last night I was up till like 2.
I was up to 4.
I got up at 7, so 5 hours.
I did.
That's all you need.
But I've done 8 before. When I get 8 hours of sleep, it's weird. I'm all fucked up. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm a bum.
Fucked up.
I don't want to do anything. The motivation, and then
You would think the opposite, but I'm like, fuck.
you would think, maybe Sean can explain that, but when I'm just, and then it's like it's 11 a.m. and you're just getting out of bed, and we're all busy people. The day is gone. I don't care if it's Sunday or not because there's still things to prepare for, during the week.
Yeah, well, even on Sundays, like you said, you prepare for things during the week, but also when you get far enough into, not you, but like where I'm at in the program, people almost kind of know my schedule because I'm a man of structure. It's like everyone knows where I'm at 5, 6 a.m. and then my schedule throughout the day because I'm with the teammates and it's just kind of known, right? My family, the little friends I have left, my girlfriend, like everyone kind of knows. So when Sunday comes, it's like everyone knows this is Sean's day off. There's no excuse for the not answer this phone. Right, and then it's also the days I have to schedule all my meetings and like Zooms and phone calls because that's only time I have time
to prep for the week, right? Yeah,
prep for the week, but also get in touch with people that I can't normally get in touch with Monday through Saturday. I mean, but to me, I only have like whoever I have in the program, they're my priority. So that's like it. Like this. So even for me, I get excited when I get new people to come in because I'm like, it's almost like a competitive thing, but kind of like I want to help show this person that they can do it.
Yeah.
Again. And they're my life. The 4 of them, the 5 of them, the 6, whoever's in, one of them, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm here to be that for them.
That's your priority.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe you can help me out. I hate answering the phone. There's a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is like this isn't my bread and butter. You know, I have a marketing company. That's the bread. This is fun, whatever. You know what I mean? So all day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4 p.m., I'm doing market, you know, all day long. Like once you're staring at a computer, I don't have time for phone calls.
Right.
Then if I like have, you know, podcast, YouTube channel, whatever the hell you want to call it, then I got to prepare for that, you know, figure out who the person is, so on and so forth. Now we're at 9, 10, 11. Now I have to catch up on the marketing from what happened between, you know, 4 and 11.
Right.
So why do I want to answer the phone? Because I'm going to get on the phone with somebody, Sean Rabbicini, but he knows not to even try to call me now. Shout out to Sean, good guy. But he's learned in the last 3 months that don't even bother dialing. Because you get on the phone and then it turns into, oh, well, this happened, blah, 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 blah. I got shit to do. Now, if you just text me, I can read it and text right back, right? And I can go back to work. I'm not stuck with an AirPod in trying to think and do something, and now I got to hear about some story that I don't care about, don't want to hear about, but I want to be polite. Next thing you know, I look, it's 45 minutes. I just wasted on the phone. I don't have time for this shit because I work 12 hours a day, just like we all do in this room. So as a therapist, how fucked up am I? But there's more to it than that. But that's one of the things.
I don't want to say it's that bad. I just want to say it's more like a you're no drama guy, right? Like you just don't want to deal with it. So you'd rather, it's not, I don't want to call it people pleasing, 'cause I don't think you're a people pleaser, but you'd rather just be like, yeah, let's just see what you got to say. I don't want to hear about the BS later about how I didn't answer your phone call.
Yeah.
Right? So what Curtis Martin always, you know, listen to him. He always says, your no is your no. Healthy boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, even Jay, you know, Jay's got people that he calls them his breakfast friends. And we use all these things in the program. You know, you've got your breakfast friends, your lunch friends, and your dinner friends. Breakfast, make breakfast early. Make it at 6 a.m. Because if it matters that much, you know, they'll show up. And you got a little bit of time because you got things to go do, right? Lunch is a little bit longer. Lunch is like maybe an hour at best, right? And some of those people you might be more familiar with, they can get an hour of your time, right? And then you got your dinner friends. Very few people are your dinner friends. They're the ones that you give the most time to. And you shouldn't have more than, I mean, Charles Barkley says he's got this many people that he stays in touch with, and he's always looking for a reason to get rid of one of them. Right? Yeah. So
yeah, we talk about that all the time.
So it's like, you know, you really just got to pick and choose. Like, I hate to say it, but who's got, I go over this with my teammates. Like, if you didn't lose a few people along the way in your path to recovery, you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people that just got to go. I know people that have come to my program, they get divorces. And it's like, I hate to say it, but you're better off. You know, you learn things, and there's just some healthy boundaries you got to set. And if people can't respect them, then they can go. And it's not like a F you kind of thing. It's just like, well, maybe that other person needs to learn some healthy boundaries too.
Like, I don't have time for lunch.
Don't got time.
Like, I can go to dinner maybe once, twice, 3 times a month because I'm working. I don't have time.
And that's fair.
Lunch isn't paying the bills. Lunch isn't getting Christmas presents. Lunch isn't going to take care of something if it goes wrong.
So what they say, when you learned you couldn't pay your bills with people's opinion, you stopped caring?
Yeah.
Right.
I like people are like, oh my God, you're working on Christmas.
Yeah.
Is Christmas paying the fucking bills?
Me too.
No.
That's what my dad says. My dad says it all the time. But I think, like, family-wise, like, dinner would be family. Like, not friends. Like, maybe go with your friends, right, to the bar and have dinner. But, like, dinner to me, even though we don't do it much, is, like, family.
Yeah.
But that's what I think has changed with this generation, and me speaking as it. Like, you used to sit down at the table, right?
I used to have Sunday dinners every night.
I mandated that in our house when I went away. When I moved to Miami.
And
I
you
made
should.
it a point to come back. I said, listen, I said my brothers, I got 2 younger brothers. I said, look, Sundays are mom and dad's house. I don't care where you're at. Find yourself
right.
there. We still doing.
That's when you learn about you talk to your family. How was your week? You know, what'd you do? What'd you this, that, and I think that's what's missing in society.
100%. You got, like you said, sit at the table, right? Sit at the table, body language. You learn to sit still, not be on this like this the whole time.
No phone.
No phone. And
Finish the plate.
Yep. You learn to speak a certain way. You learn, body language, tone of voice. That's all lost.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate to sound like some old school guy sitting on a stoop and preaching, but that's literally what it is.
It is.
It's as simple as that. And that's why, millennials are the way they are, and it's working its way down to Gen Zs. And I mean, it's just, it's lost, man. I mean, even myself, I make it a point, and people still disagree. It's like, Sean, I know you work a lot, but if you got a phone call at 7 p.m. Sunday, you better be on it. And I say, hey, man, they got me literally for, I'm no mathematician. That's why I got into this field. But you've got all these other hours in the week.
Yeah.
7 to 10 on Sunday, that y'all can figure it out. Someone can answer the phone.
Yeah.
You know, that's family time. That's the one healthy boundary I have.
And you should. I had to be, it didn't matter if I was in Jersey, Philly, Atlantic City, all the way at the bottom. I had to be at my mom's house at 6 p.m. every Sunday, or I was getting an ass whooping. I mean, that's just the way it was, because she was marinating that sauce, all gravy. We used to call it gravy, all day long.
I've heard that.
The day before, actually, she would start. And there'd be more food. I mean, you could feed an army with the shit she would make, but then she'd give it to the neighbors and stuff. But if I wasn't there or I was late, my grandpa and a couple of my cousins were big like you, but big and bipolar. Yeah. You know, meaning like very, very nice. But look, this is Sunday dinner. Yeah. You're going to finish that plate. Yeah. You're going to be on time. I don't care what you're driving. I don't care what's in the bank account. You're going to be here. Or if you're not, I will find you, and it's not going to be happy. I don't care how old you are. I'll still beat that ass.
My dad.
And guess
like
what?
That.
I was there every week.
Yeah. My dad is not like a man of violence or anything like that, but he will say, if he has to say like, where were you? It's like, oh, shit.
The eye, you see the eyes, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean beat. I mean just like.
No, yeah, it's a beat.
I mean, sometimes.
No, yeah,
sometimes when I heard the belt snap, I was like, oh, fuck, I fucked up this time. You know, but that's what's gone from society today.
It's gone. Even my mom, I used to hear the pizza paddle slap. She would slap herself in the thigh with the pizza paddle in the other room, pap, 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 just to test and see how hard she was going to hit me.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew it was coming. When I was
Do you know how many wooden pasta spoons have been broken over my ass? And then we went to metal when we bent them. And then, I've said this before, so Rob's just sick of hearing it. My grandmother was crazy. She was 5'4", little Italian woman, nuts. Very nice at one time, but could snap like that, especially when it came to eating. And if the food got cold, well, if I was late and the food got cold, she had out, she would hit me with the wooden spoon, the gravy spoon, and then it would break. Then she'd get pissed that the spoon broke. Then I got cracked again. You know, they don't really hurt. You know, on the ass, not like anything crazy.
It's more the sound.
Yeah, yeah. And just like, it's like, oh, fuck. And then you just hope that she don't tell anybody else. You know, I mean, that's how it was. And that's what's missing. And I read something. So when you say anti-bullying, what do you mean by that? Because that can mean a lot of things. And that was on the internet. So I want to ask you about that to clear that up, because people could take that the wrong way, or what you mean by that.
So more of we use a keyword in that just to really attract people's eyes and attention to the program.
Good move.
But really what it means is situational awareness, right? I mean, I got, a lot of people get bullied as kids, but I got bullied a lot. I was little. I was all over. I didn't hit 100 pounds till like 7th grade. I was all head. My head was like this big.
Really?
And my head is hard. It's big and strong. It's just something about it. But I was real skinny. I didn't get muscular until like, even like my mom used to make me do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, and body squats every morning, starting from kindergarten up. And I did them all.
That's a black belt.
Yeah,
and that's what should be going on now, man.
Yeah, but I did that all the way till I was 13, 14 years old. I could do 1,000 push-ups.
That's how it should be.
So everyone used to say to me, I got to high school and people were like, "Oh man, Herschel Walker could do 1,000 push-ups." And I was like, I could do 1,000 push-ups. So I was like, who the hell is Herschel Walker? Right. So, but thing is that my mom made me do that. So like there were certain things that were implemented, but like I said, good kid, good family. I was small, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get big and strong, but I was strong. And I was just, like I said, I was introverted. I was shy, right? I got bullied, but I had no communication skills. I had even living in Miami, no situational awareness, I couldn't read people. And it wasn't because like, it wasn't taught. It was just, I was 5 and 6, right? And there's just some kids that get it faster than others. And when they do, they take advantage. And it's, what do you do, right? So when you make it a point to have it go to a program, and you really learn it in sports or martial arts, what bad people are, but you don't know like what's the word? You know what bad people look like, but you can't tell what evil people look like, right?
Yeah, there's a difference.
Right? Like there's people that do bad things that you could, like when you're a little kid, you'd be like, oh, that guy looks like you know, he could hurt you.
Yeah.
Or that woman looks like she's going to do something bad, or she looks crazy. But then there's people who are manipulative, right? And there's you know, they're shifty, like you said earlier. And you don't know how to identify that, you know, at a young age. But through martial arts, you know, when I was a kid, I learned that. I learned body language. I learned how people move. I could see that. You know, your eyes almost begin to pick up body movements a different way. So we learned. So that's why I was teaching the kids, even when I graduated college, right? Do my MMA program. So we also do that in Rebound, like just through speaking with other people and sitting at tables with other people from walks of life. I mean, in doing the things you do, it brings out characters in people.
Socialize, right?
Yeah, but you see how other people react that shouldn't react that way, and you learn, and you're like, wow, like that's what I've seen that before, but only in my neighborhood a long time ago, and it's because that person was doing this, right? And then you relate it to the situation you were just in now. So it's not even things that you're going through personally; it's things that you see someone else react, right? And yeah, and it's just through situational and life skills and learning.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you know, with the bullying thing, what I can't stand it. Personally, I can't stand it. Now you cleared it up, so the way you mean it is different than
situational awareness. Period.
But you know, but then on the other end, you're teaching situational awareness, self-defense, you know, MMA. So you're giving life skills and everything else, you know, with that. So, like, I can't stand how if I play football right now, everybody gets a trophy. I can't stand how we were talking earlier. You fall, you get a boo-boo. Oh, my God. It's a brush burn. You're going to get 100 of them. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You know, get up. Or I throw a cupcake at you in the lunchroom. So what?
Yeah.
Man up. Deal with it. You know,
Right.
like if we're in lunch in high school, middle school, and I throw a cupcake at you, is that bullying? I mean, I know nowadays it is, but in your mind, is it?
I would say when we were kids, it was kids being kids. Now, if someone sat me down and told me, listen, it's just a joke. I know you're embarrassed, but it's really not that big of a deal. And then I have to go through it and someone worked me through it, like a coach, then I can learn it's not bullying, right? Because there's kids that are going to be embarrassed. You can't help how they feel.
Right.
Because if someone's just sitting there laughing at you, like you only perceive it so many ways, right? But if someone said to you, hey, the same way they go, oh my God, are you okay? And they go, hey, it's not a big deal. Like, pick up a cupcake, throw it back, or like, or take it off your face and eat it. You know, it is how you perceive a situation. Like, if someone threw a cupcake at you and you took it and you picked it and you ate it, like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I would do. I would do one of two things.
Then what? Right?
Yeah,
You know?
then it's like no big deal.
the kids
What's
be
the
like,
point?
I'd throw it back at you.
Right? Or they'd be like, oh my God, he ate it, or you threw it back. Like it's
Could be either, yeah.
How you perceive, but no one sits down and just says, hey man, not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
That's parenting.
It is.
Or
But like I said
no
before-
one to turn to.
Like I said before, though, in the beginning, hurt people, and not physically like abuse or hurt. It's just if I was brought up a certain way and I went through certain things and no one helped me through that, I'm gonna teach my kids to be a certain way just subconsciously because things I've been through.
Yeah.
And now people get more scared, more afraid. They develop less in the learning, and life, like just simple things. I keep saying life skills, and people are like, well, what the hell is so important about life skills? Everything. It makes you who you are.
Well, I think it's a very important word because life skills is what's going to get you through life. I mean, everybody's going to deal with problems. Everybody has bad days. Not everybody's going to feel good. People are going to pick on you. I don't care who you are. I mean, Michael Jordan gets picked on. You know, whoever it is. You know, everybody, you're going to deal with that in life. But if you have the life skills to adjust to it. Like if I got a cupcake thrown at me, one of three things would happen. I would wipe it off my mouth and eat it and laugh at them and flick them off. I would get more cupcakes and throw more back, or probably the most likely at the time, walk over and punch them in the face. And even if I got beat up, at least I stuck up for myself.
Right.
And then it was over. I guarantee you they won't throw it again because it'd be like, it's not worth, even if they not rocked me, we're both going to get in school or out of school. Right. So is it worth it to throw another one at me? Yeah. And then they get in school or out of school? I would do one of those three things. And I don't think there's wrong with any of those three choices.
If someone was, like I said, teachers did their job, and teachers, like, it's getting so simple nowadays because teachers are just teaching, is if they were going beyond and being role models still, you know, and being and being like how you see in the movies. Hey, let me give you a ride home, or let me tell you something. Come with me, young man. Let's go get some dinner. Or let's talk. Like, let's come here after class. I want to tell you something. You know, that's gone. I mean, I think I had, and even in high school, we're talking about 03 to 07, I think I may have had one teacher like that. Right? It wasn't until my senior year. You're talking about 8 teachers a year, 4 years, and that's including coaches in different sports. Like, no, I just paycheck and go. And that's the problem with this, even the industry I'm in too. Paycheck and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same.
They work the 9 to 5,
and they're done.
They're done. They got the summer off. They're there to come in, get through those 9 months, 8 months as fast as they can.
So, like I said, there's no one there to give them. The parents aren't around, you know, and who do they have? Just their friends. And there's nothing wrong with friends, but definitely, but if they're the wrong group, then yeah, you got big ass problems.
And the thing is there's really no way to get to them, because instead of feeding all this bullshit to the kids that they're never going to use in life. I mean, I didn't go to college. You know, I always did my own thing. You know, I couldn't work for somebody to save my life. The only thing I cared about was science, medical, and math. Everything else I could care less. And if I cared less, there was no way I was going to pay attention to it. But the little bit that I did listen to, I don't use anything really other than like adding and minusing. You know, like why not take some of the bullshit and shorten it and have like a life. I liked it. I like the name. I don't care. Like a life skills class. Yeah, they should. But like a real person, not some bobo that is just waiting for their check. I'm talking like a Sean that goes in. Maybe you have a guest speaker twice a week.
Well, that's what they do. I mean, I remember even being in high school, they used to have the scare ceremony, like the scared straight one, right? It was always before homecoming and prom. Yeah, they'd bring in someone. Yeah. They'd bring in drunk driving family victims, and they'd show you the gruesome pictures of people's faces ripped off. But
I don't think anybody cares about that.
But it was, people will cry, but then it'd be done.
And then they go and drink.
Right, and then that's right, and they'd be done. And then they did the same thing like in middle school with the STDs. You learn about STDs in middle school. Like, don't have sex because this. But nobody
cares. It's more in here at the time and out.
Right, that's right.
But that's why I'm saying
not drilled in.
Right.
Like Shakespeare is.
Correct.
In Hamlet.
So what I'm saying is what they should do is have like a guy like you come like say Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just a half an hour. And teach the kids, look, if you get hit by a fucking cupcake, it's not that big a deal. It's not a bullet. Okay? You know, it's a cupcake. You're going to be all right. Yeah. You know, laugh at it. Yeah. You're going to piss the guy off that threw the cupcake at you more if you laugh at him. Even if I would have hit him, it probably would have pissed him off and turned him away more if I just would have ate it and laughed. Because then what's the fun? Right. What is the fun on the other end of throwing the cupcake, right? Or picking on little Johnny because he's short. You know, if he just laughs and says, yeah, I'm a midget, you know, makes fun of him. You know what I mean? But I think if they did that, maybe it would help. But they don't, and they're not going to, and it's just going to get worse. And it's all starting with...
Well, and then social media. I mean...
don't even get me started.
It's getting worse. I mean, social media is the worst form of bullying nowadays. I mean, it's like... Because people... In the same way, people want immediate gratification for whatever they post. Like, if you only get like 10 likes on your post, you're like on suicide watch. You know what I'm saying? But when you get 100 or 1,000 or... You know, all of a sudden, you know, you think you should be getting paid for this.
And it's the dumbest shit, Sean. It is the dumbest. Like, you know, you're running a major business. I'm probably multiple. I'm running multiple. Rob's running multiple. And when people show me, look at this. This is so funny. I look at, you're really going to spend 3 minutes watching that shit? Like, there's nothing funny about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and it's tough. I mean, I have the young kids, a lot of the Gen Z type kids coming in nowadays.
What's Gen Z mean?
That's a generation.
That's the one below. I want to say below. They came after millennial. Those kids.
Okay.
Like I think it's like 2000 on, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. 2000.
Yeah, so they're like they're all social media. The TikTok generation. You know, I
hate that TikTok. Yeah. I use it for business, but I hate it.
I
hate all of it.
Yeah, it's tough because they don't understand real. Like I said, they don't know what real life is, and it's I don't want to be primal, but it's like a lot of people that's never been punched in the face. Like they don't understand the pecking order or a food chain, what you can say to people, what you can't say to people.
People say whatever they want now,
right?
And they think they do get away with it, but you know, you wouldn't go up to somebody and say that to them, like, I hope you die. Like, why would you ever say to somebody? Right. Like, even your worst enemy, I don't think. Like, I hope you die.
Well, they said kill yourself.
Kill yourself.
Yeah. Well, they had the whole court case a few years ago. It was the boyfriend and girlfriend situation. The boyfriend was suicidal, and the girlfriend actually was telling her boyfriend through text, "It's okay.
You can look that up.
Go ahead. You can do it. Kill yourself. Be free." She got jail time.
What?
Yeah. all through
that's
like
fucking.
and it was like social media driven. It was like text message. He was, I'm thinking about it. And she's like, it's okay. You can do it. And it was like, these kids don't understand what real life, like this is your life. And it's just lost. Like it's really lost. So that's really what we're trying. We do, yeah.
I'm in caveman time too with you because
Yeah.
I hate all this. The only reason I don't do anything personal on social media. I don't want anybody knowing shit about my life, like what I do personally, and then just in general. I don't have time for it. I see what it does to people, that they get locked in and then they're just on that shit all day and all night. Like every time you look at them, they're on the phone, either on the phone, playing with the phone, looking for the phone, or charging the phone because it died because they forgot to charge it.
Yep.
And I just use it for business because that's just how it is these days.
Yep.
But I hate it, and I think it's absolutely, positively terrible for any kid at a young age, although I'm guilty of it, or I just let it happen, I should say. I just think it's really bad, and I think this generation coming up is really going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
He said, Sean, you said one of your clients, or maybe not one of your clients, I'm not sure, but we talked about Delonte West. And, you know, he went from, you know, college to NBA and then had a fall off in his life. And people just shared these, because somebody took video of this guy, Delonte West. He was messed up, right? He's fucked up. He's on the street. He's all fucked up on drugs and everything like that. And people are sharing this on social media and like making fun of the guy. That's not helping the guy.
Yeah, they're more
He has
likely
a
to
problem,
record.
But they're recording him to be like, oh, look at this fucking idiot. But he's got a problem. He had an issue, but nobody wanted to help him. But it was fun to share it on social media.
And you know what? When
It
they
was fun to
do
share
that,
it.
and when they do that bullshit, he's going to see that, and then that's going to make him go get more hammered, right? Am I right? As a person who's dealing with, you know, some
It's a
teammates
trigger
like
because
this?
now you're embarrassed. You're shame. You have shame. You've got embarrassment. You got guilt. I mean, you got all.
I
these
like how you
things.
go by body language.
Yeah.
When I had the engineering company, I knew right away. 5 minutes, I knew.
Yeah.
I'd look at the loafers in the watch. I knew if he was willing to pay. If you didn't have a good watch and nice loafers and a decent suit,
great.
if the suit wasn't tailored,
Not a chance.
this fucking guy's gonna try to
But
rig me down.
but yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's just
This is the one you're talking
this
about,
is
right,
her.
Sean?
Yeah.
She got jailed. What?
11 months.
Read that, Rob.
Served 11 months of her 15-month prison sentence.
What?
She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary, man.
She
Read this whole
coaxed,
thing.
she coaxed her boyfriend who was suicidal to kill himself.
Yeah, Michelle Carter, the Massachusetts woman who as a teen encouraged her boyfriend via text message to kill himself, was released early from prison. Yeah, so she basically told him, you know, I guess he was telling her he was suicidal, and she said, well, just fucking kill yourself, and he did, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's this like
She
we're
did
saying.
15 months in jail for
11 of 15.
11 of 15 months for that?
That's the thing, though, is like that's that
Oh,
social media
God.
generation that they don't understand really what you're doing or saying, how the words really impact those people. Like the others on the other side of that phone, whatever it is, you know, whatever you're saying, whatever you're being done, like it's hard, man.
So let me get this straight. This broad gets 11 months out of she does in jail for a text message. Clinton's got guys falling off planes, disappearing, getting hookers,
Yeah,
and nothing happens.
that's the thing.
Tons of other things that are a gazillion times worse. They're walking around.
Yeah.
And this broad gets 11 months in county? Oh, my God. I'm staying in my...
Yeah.
You're going to have to get me out of the house. I'm going to have to hire you to get me out of the house. And I'm going to go with a ski mask on in 110 degrees.
Yeah, it's
Holy shit.
it's crazy, man. We live in a wild world where
Where's
people,
Bristol County, Sean? Where is it?
that's Massachusetts.
Oh, I thought that was here.
Oh no, this
fuck.
is yeah.
Oh, that's down to Boston.
Yeah.
Never going back there again. Any games there, I ain't going. Any concerts there, see you, Boston.
Yeah.
Never going there.
That's tough, man. That's
Fucking nuts.
That's crazy. But I mean, that's that generation, though. I mean, they don't know how. I'm sure they know, but they don't understand truly the weight of words and how to cope. They got no coping skills.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. No coping skills. And the triggers are different. I mean, that town is probably so small. Those kids probably never been through anything in their lives. And they don't understand, you know, the smallest thing probably put him over the edge. And all someone had to do was sit him down, the gentleman that killed himself, and walk him through, you know, with a proper therapist, proper lifestyle change. Like, look, man, it's not like that. Like, there's a bigger world out there. You know, these people get so lost and tied up in their little worlds. There's so much more. That's why we do that. Like, that's why, I guess, simply that's why we do everything we do at Rebound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different things. Like, you don't realize how cool the world is until you're 13,000 feet in the air and you're falling back to the earth.
Yeah.
When you're 60 feet underwater here in Florida, we have the best like scuba diving in the country over here. There at Blue Heron.
Right by the bridge. I got certified there.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yep. I mean, there's you fly a plane. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, you drive a boat. Like, these are things that like life. You perceive life completely different, and it's like it completely changes your view, and it's all because someone sat you down that cared about you, and loved you just for that time enough to show you can love yourself again. That's all it is. And if more people did that, as opposed to like what you were talking about with D, you know, they're more likely to do this than do this and call for help.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to me. It happened. I was over the Boynton Inlet, and I was teaching one of our teammates how to paddleboard, and he wasn't paddleboarding very well. He was pretty weak at it, actually. And the board was getting sucked out to the bridge right there. And you know, if you ever seen under that bridge, it's like a whirlpool. Yeah, I mean, you get sucked in there, you're dead. Yeah, that's crazy right? Shit there. Yeah. So he's getting sucked in. I'm going to get him, and he's refusing to paddle. Like, once again, one of these he was a Gen Z kid, no sense of urgency. He doesn't understand that we're going to die. Yeah. Like, we're gonna die. Like, we're both gonna drown.
A lot
to
of
death.
people died there too.
Yeah, we're gonna drown to death right now. So I was like, look, man. I was like, you need to start paddling, or we're both gonna die, and it's gonna be your fault because I'm coming to save you.
What did he do? Freeze up?
Froze up. So what I did is I
went through anything.
So I said, hold on, never been through nothing, right? Got anxiety, and that's okay. I got anxiety too. You got anxiety. We all do, right? But how do you manage that? What are you gonna do? Right now is I hate to say it was a fight or flight situation.
Yeah.
And what happened is we're getting sucked out, and there's people all fishing on the bridge, and instead of going, hey, like maybe throw us online or something, they all pulled out their phones and they're recording like, we're about to watch two people get drowned to death here.
That's crazy.
I literally jumped off my board. I tied his board to my ankle and I swam us out. Yeah, like Aquaman. It was insane. Like, you know, and I get to the shore and I'm like,
congratulations.
You know,
and that was very nice that you did that, by the way.
Thank you. But it's like, I'm like, you know, we almost just died.
And you're worried about recording?
And
why the fuck aren't you in there helping too?
Yeah, right. But I said to the kid, I was like, you know, we almost just died. He's like, yeah, well, I just couldn't get it right. And I was like, I don't think you understand. like, I don't think you quite get, like, this isn't this isn't a social media thing.
Yeah.
But
my man, it isn't your phone that fell in the water. You're talking about your life here, my man.
Right. And these guys are all recording up here. And I didn't say anything. I'm just like, I'm looking up thinking, well, I'm going to die and it's going to be recorded, of course.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm going out. And
at least you make the news.
Yeah. No, but like, but of course, of course, it wasn't a top story. They don't want to record when man drags man out of
that's
tide
right.
pool.
It's got to be that one cop out of a gazillion that did something wrong.
Yeah, I got to be dead to make news.
Yeah.
So remember me when I'm gone.
You know, I was reading an article in the New York Times. In some, like, say you're fat and you're like 300, 400 pounds, and I call you fat, and I go tell the teacher, or say I'm 400 pounds, you call me fat, I go tell the teacher, I'll get detention for that.
For snitching?
Wait. No. Like, if I just go and say, Sean, hey, Miss so-and-so, Sean called me fat.
The guy that called him fat is going to get detention?
Yeah, like, I would get detention.
Wow.
Like, if I call you fat boy, you know, whatever, something like that, they're giving detention for that.
So while I'm not an advocate for this kind of stuff, I mean, I think it still is ridiculous you get punished for it. Like, handle it. You know, like my mom would have, if someone would have called me fat and I would have told, first off, you're tattletaling, right? Yeah. And so like.
Numero uno.
Yeah. It's like you're tattletaling, right? And two.
That's what you should get your ass beat for, is tattletaling.
They should both get in trouble, but it shouldn't be called detention. You should call it something else. It should be called therapy. Like, why did you feel the need to call him that, and why didn't you do something about it? And why did you feel the need to come to tell me? What if it was just him saying something like that to you? Did you not feel adequate enough, or you were in a space to communicate back to him why he felt it was necessary to call you fat?
I couldn't agree more.
But that has to be taught at home. Parents don't teach that to their kids anymore.
Uh-huh.
I had a nun as a kindergarten teacher, a nun, full veil and all. And she had a thing. If you told on somebody, even if they did something wrong, she called the tattle. Now, this would be front page news now. She literally had a tail that she would pin on the person.
Tattletale.
On their butt. She put on their butt, and it was called the tattletale. So you were the but now, like, can you imagine something like that now? That piece would be fired to be all over the headline.
And really, what is wrong with that? You know, and I agree with what you said. Instead of detention, why don't you call them both in and talk to them like humans and say, look, why did you call him fat? Well, he's fat and, you know, he's just ugly. And then the fat kid says, you know, whatever. And then maybe like a person like you would say, you know, well, you know, you really hurt his feelings. You know, maybe he doesn't have the money to eat the way you eat at home. Maybe he doesn't have the family life like you have. How can we resolve this, right?
Even simple sayings like you said before. You said a one-liner before that we all grew up on. Another simple one is, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, right?
That's the dream world.
Yeah, dream world. But
that's never going to happen.
But if you did, but kids are kids.
Yeah.
Kids are kids. I have my little brother, Chris. He's my middle brother, my middle one before the youngest.
Shout out to Chris. You got a great
right.
brother. He's cool as hell.
And Chris is the man. And Chris was fat. He's a fat little kid. Like everyone in my house was like, Chris was fat. Robbie was husky. My dad was a pretty big dude, but he wasn't like fat. He's just a husky, big guy, big Hispanic guy. And my mom was just a Norwegian woman. Like, you know, when she fought, her name was Thunderfoot. Like, she's just a big, strong.
I'm already scared.
Yeah, right? But Chris was fat. And Chris would call people fat. And it wasn't like he was mean. He'd be like, wow, Mom, that guy is fat. And she'd be like,
called reality.
Shut up.
It's called reality.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was just kids being kids. It wasn't harmful. So, like, sometimes, like, you know, I had a birthmark here. So a kid be like, you got a mole. And I'd be like, okay, you know, whatever. But it's how you perceive it. If someone could just tell you, it's not a big deal. There's way worse things, you know, to be than fat or have a birthmark or skinny but no one teaches that.
Nobody teaches it. And I guess my point is just that it's getting ridiculous where, you know, you can't say anything. You can't do anything. Everything's bullying or it's this or it's that or it's just. And there's
got to be a definition of bullying. There's got to be a better definition.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's a perception because there are things that are bullying. If I make it a point to antagonize somebody and it's my life mission, that's bullying.
Agreed.
But if I just said like, what color shirt are you wearing? What is that? Right? Like that's not bullying. That's just like,
we called it,
you know,
we called it as kids busting balls.
Busting balls.
Busting
right.
chops.
Right. So like I have big ears. My ears stick out. Right. It's a fact. My ears stick out and they're big. People as kids, they always made fun of my ears. I just laughed it off. Well, maybe it hurt me a little bit deep down inside, but I'm like, whatever. I got big ears.
Yeah, like if somebody would call me short, I'd just be like, all right, well, I'm just going to I'll wear shoes with rubber on the bottom. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I would just take it like, just get my balls busted. And then I'd hit them back and I'd be like, well, you know, what was the last girl you were with didn't look too good. Did you see the last one I was with? Yeah. You know, and we, like you said, as kids, now you say anything like that, it's this whole big deal. And I'll go back to what you had said. We're all on the same page. It's this.
You don't understand people violent, but you don't know how to pivot either. Yeah. Like you don't know how to,
right?
Like what? You know, you don't know how to think on your feet because you're slowed down.
And what's the word that we said that people say that isn't important? Life skills. That's life skills. It is. They should have a life skills in class. What do you think about homeschooling?
I think it depends. Like everything, it's like when I was doing martial arts back in the day, right? Everyone used to make fun of karate guys and taekwondo guys and this. And even nowadays, like people, you know, if you're not doing MMA or jiu-jitsu or judo or boxing or Muay Thai or kickboxing, if you're not doing the Fab Five of the martial arts for MMA, they kind of consider you like a loser, like a
cast out maybe.
Yeah,
but in a negative way.
Yeah, like the dude from Napoleon Dynamite, the American flag pants. Like you're like him pretty much, right? but it depends on the person.
Yeah,
because there's someone out there who you would never. It sort of depends on the coach, right? It depends on the person. It depends on the teacher. It depends. 100%. That's what shapes the youth. It depends who you learn from, right? So, if your parents are homeschooling you and they are on point, I think it's a great tool. But it's got to be balanced with social skills. Like I think that, you know, if you're a parent, you're homeschooling, you have to understand, okay, if they're going to do this from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., then from 2 to 6, they better be doing some kind of sport or be a part of some social activity with other people from other demographics, like not just cultures, demographics.
Otherwise, they're going to be so antisocial. It's not even
antisocial, but not know what a poor kid looks like, a rich kid looks like, what a kid who has who's being abused looks like, or has a family with drug addicts, or a kid who's too well off, a spoiled brat. Like, I'd be like, Mom, what's wrong with that kid? My mom would be like, well, Sean, that kid gets whatever he wants. So when you tell him no, he's a brat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh. Like, my mom was very open with me because
I like that.
Well, growing up in Miami, you couldn't be like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like being in New York or Philly or DC or a big town. I mean, Miami's not a metropolis, but there's a lot of different kinds of people there. As of Fort Lauderdale and South Florida, until you get to about Palm Beach, and then north is all about the same thing. But more down south, you need to know how things work a little more. You know, so when I come home and be like, you know, Mom, these kids are calling me this, because kids learn a new word. You know, that's all they're gonna call you.
Yeah.
But I don't know what. I mean, I didn't know what the word like lesbian was till I was like in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like people would call me, like, Mom, I'm coming. People call me a lesbian, and I'm like, well, Sean, this is what a lesbian is. She'd tell me, I'd be like, well, I'm not that. Like, I know, but
Just mess
it's
with
just
you.
kids.
Yeah.
Like, back to kids being kids.
Yeah.
But someone, like I said, with the homeschooling, if it's the right person, it's balanced the right way, great. But at the same time, you know, if they're teaching their kids from home because they're afraid for them, then you're part of the problem.
Right. So it depends on what the, I guess, motive behind it is.
The MO.
The MO, and then the coach, aka the parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, make sure that if they're going to be homeschooled, that at 2:00 they're getting dressed for football practice or cheerleading or whatever it may be. If you're going to do
Chess club,
anything,
club,
anything,
anything, social skills.
because you know, and I think everybody in high school should get in a fight, get hit, because you learn from it.
In it, even not just in school, but even if you just
Wherever.
go to a, like I learned,
Or go to the fucking gym and do it.
right. I learned. I mean, what happened. The last tipping point for my mom was I came home one day and she went to run her hand through my hair and I did like this, and she was like, well, "What was that?" Like, I don't beat you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Why are you flinching?
Yeah.
Like, yet, you know. And I got I don't even remember this, but my mom told me this. She said you came home and you had lumps on you from being held down and noogied, and I was so afraid to react and hurt somebody because I didn't want to get in trouble. So she brought me to martial arts, and they were teaching me how to keep distance, what aggressive body language looks like, what being approached by more than one person looks like, all of that, right? And then it got to the point where one day, you know, I came home and I was telling my mom what was happening at school because I was, I guess we'll call it, bullied because a few people made it a point to come after me. I never retaliated.
They called it picked on when I was like, it was like picked on
because the school doesn't want to be a school known for bullying, so they call it picked on, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear bullying until like the last 5 years.
Right.
Really.
So, and I was like, Mom, these kids say this to me in school, and they actually hit me and stuff. But I know what the rules are. You know, if I defend myself, you know, it's just you get suspended. Wow. And my mom was like, Sean, you know, if you feel like you have to defend yourself, please defend yourself. Because
Shout out to mom. Shout out to mom.
But she was like, last thing I need is you to come home with a broken arm or a broken leg, or, you know, even you come home suicidal because you're being picked on and you don't know how to retaliate. And also she's like, Sean, you know, I'll defend you if you are in the right. Yeah. That's what she said. She's like, if you're in the right, I'll defend you. She's like, but if you're in the wrong, she's like, you're going to get whatever the consequences are.
That's what I tell my kids the same thing. If somebody hits you, you hit them back. You don't start the fight, but you finish the fight. And I'll deal with the circumstances of that, not you. Somebody hits you, guess what? I'll talk to that principal because you don't let somebody put their hands on you.
What he just said was, I mean, almost what your mom just said. Shout out to your mom.
Thank you.
Good mom.
That's all.
She, verbatim, what my grandpa had said to me. Don't use if I find out it was you, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But if somebody hits you, make sure you're the one who walks away.
So in middle school,
finish it.
So I lived in Miami till elementary school. In middle school, my dad's job took us to Richmond, Virginia for 3 years.
Oh, how was that? I bet that was a good, interesting. How was that, Sean?
Yeah.
Tell me about that story.
It's a beautiful state.
Tell me a story there. Tell me a story.
But man, it was just like it was a culture shock.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I mean,
have you ever been there?
Everyone kind of lived in one side of town.
I hate Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, it's just beautiful state, but just so different. Like I said, different walk of life. But the people just like they're stuck in the. I don't want to say the people. that area I was in particularly,
Yeah.
they're still stuck. I mean, we're talking about from 2000 to 2003 before I moved back down here. They're like, we only went to museums that were museums of the South, Southern historical societies, museums of the Confederacy, social history of the South museum, like only things like, and they would be like, oh, well, it's part of the program to learn about the state history. And my mom would be like, we would only go to battle sites where the South won to watch reenactments.
Oh my God, I know.
And it was like,
And they're all dressing up in that old shit.
yeah,
right?
but it was just like, listen, I get the value of learning about your state. I mean, if that's your state history, it's your state history. But the people have not moved on. And it was just tough. I mean, I mean, I'm not like, I don't look like, I guess, Hispanic or any kind of way or a way you would think people would treat me differently. But they did.
They knew you were Spanish?
Well,
or they just knew you were an outsider?
They just knew I was an outsider.
Yeah.
Because we lived in the only apartment complex in the town so we can go to a good school.
Oh, so they hated that.
So they knew that. We were like the apartment people.
Oh, the new guy comes in town.
Yeah, it was the same. It was just like, it was me and like two African-American kids in the school. And in that part of town.
Yeah.
And one kid, his name, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
But one kid was adopted into a white family, right? And the other kid, he was from the other side of town. So I was like, and he was from Chicago. And I was like, all right, he's my man. Like, we're going to be friends.
Yeah.
And it was just an interesting area, man. Like, but once again, different walk of life, different way I look back. I mean, I was very mad back then at that whole situation. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm a retard. Why the hell were you in Virginia?
My dad's job.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. So my dad's job brought us out there, and I was so mad at the time how these people were treating me. I look back now, right? All the fights I got into, that I finished, right?
Finished.
I mean, and it would happen like in the craziest of places because kids that had no communication skills. I mean, there's a kid he speared me from behind at a playground at McDonald's and thought it was okay. And it's like, I get up full well knowing what I'm capable of. And my first reaction isn't even to retaliate. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I'm letting you live. And it's just, but it's just, I look at that now, I'm like, it's just people they don't understand. They weren't cultured a certain way, coached a certain way, taught, exposed to certain things. And that's the parents' fault. That one-dimensional way of living and thinking.
Agreed.
It's just going to slow your family and your legacy down.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of parents don't understand that, what they want may not be best for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's what you want to do or a way you want to act, one day that kid's going to grow up and have to deal with life.
Well, and so in my program, right, one of the special things about it is, people perceive it as special. I perceive it as a pain in the ass. Is my teammates are allowed to have their cell phones at all times, right? And people will say, well, why don't you take their phones if it's such a problem? And I said, well, I need to teach them how to use it because otherwise it's still going to be a problem when they get out of here. Like a lot of these other facilities that are locked down, you'll go in there for 30 days and you'll leave. And the first thing you do, because you haven't seen a drink or alcohol or drugs or whatever it is for 30 days, you're going to go, oh my God, I've been waiting on you for 30 days. You're going to walk right over and do it. At our place, we go out to eat. Every breakfast and lunch is out to eat. We go to a 5-star steakhouse every Saturday to be around our vices, right? And learn how to deal with it, right? So it's the same thing. Like even I know the day I have kids, I can't say, well, they're not going to do social media. I have no idea how to use TikTok. But if I have kids and that's still a thing, I'm damn sure going to learn how to use TikTok so I could be a man up on my kids and be hip with it because I'm going to have to learn how to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is healthy if manageable. There's just some people that can't do it.
Agreed.
So, but I have to learn on my own. I can't be ignorant. I can't be one-dimensional because I'm no better from those kids in the middle of nowhere in Virginia.
You know what? Say that again because I'm going to make it a clip because I think people need to hear what you just say because you're not going to stop social media.
No.
You're not going to get them off of it.
Mm-hmm.
What the funniest thing to me, we talk about this all the time. You go ground the kid. He's got an iPad or an iPhone, hidden under the bed.
Uh-huh.
Go in your room for an hour. You think that does anything?
It's vacation.
Right? But now if you just give him a little love tap with the belt,
Mm-hmm.
if you do it again, I'm coming with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
You might take the first one. But the second time, I guarantee you they don't do it again. In the room with an iPad ain't going to do it. In the room alone ain't going to do it.
I'm not even saying giving your kid a spanking will do it. But if you just take your kid to play a local sport where you have to see how the pecking order works and the food chain works in the neighborhood, do that. You could do it, and that's what's the great thing about sports is. From anything competitive, you'll figure out real quick who falls in line where and how to act correct when you're in a structure. When you're in what my dad used to say it about football, it's organized something chaos. It's like organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
Yeah.
We call it. Yeah,
Organized chaos is football.
Yeah.
But literally you learn real quick who's what, when, where, why, how, like and that right there is enough if managed correctly by the right people, the right coaches. You make men, you make women, you make people who are solid members of society, pillars of our society.
Right.
You know, but I'm not saying sports is the answer or anything, but club.
Something.
Like I said, book club, writing club, reading club, chess club, you know, anything.
Or instead of whacking them with the belt because you'll go to jail now for it, which
Right.
I'm against that. I think you should be able to, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying hurt them. I'm just saying let them know, you know? And to me, because that's how I was raised, and believe me, after the second or third one, I didn't do it again.
Right.
I didn't. And if I would have just got grounded, I don't care. I'm going to do the same thing.
Right.
But there's also another way to look at it so you don't go to jail. Make them do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got to go. Now you're going to go in the chess club for 3 months. I don't care if you like it or not. And if you don't, now I'm going to take everything from you. You know.
You got to make your kids do the same way in my program. I make my teammates do things they do not want to do. They really don't. They don't want to get up at 6 a.m. They don't want to spill their guts every day. They don't want to go jumping out of planes. Some do. But, you know, they don't. There's some people that will jump out of a plane every single day of the week, but dreads ice skating.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And they're from the Northeast. I'm like, hey, think you would have ice skated. Don't let a guy from Miami show you how to ice skate.
What's the reasoning for?
They're just terrified. They're just scared to fall. Right?
But they'll jump out of a plane.
They'll jump out of a plane. So I was like, well, you're kind of doing the same from higher up. I don't know. But the thing is that it's the same thing where I need to make them do things they don't want to do. With football, when I first started playing football, I hated football. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, because at least in training MMA and fighting, we're working back and forth. I'm not standing there and letting you kick me and punch me and throw me. In football, you were like, sometimes there's drills, you know, like Oklahomas and stuff. Like, you were just a tackling dummy, you know? So I was like, this is the most.
The bag holder.
I was like, you're just we're just all candidates for like brain transplants right now. Like, we're not doing anything.
I remember doing that. I had broken 5-6 records at the time in running back. It was Pennsylvania, so you know, and for some reason I had to hold the bag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the guy breaking the records. Why the hell am I this dummy standing here with the bag?
It's quote unquote character building, but there's different ways. But like I said, I agree. I used to think it was so dumb. But once again,
agreed.
My dad and mom made me do it. They said, Sean, as dumb as you think this is, you know, give it a season. If you don't like it, they didn't even say a day. They didn't say a week. They didn't say a game. They said, give it the season. You've never done it before. See if you like it. My number was like 63. It was like some off the wall number. That was
my number.
I was a second string center, and I was like 80 pounds, you know? So I'm like, I'm never going to see the field, right? And I hated football all season. The last game of the season, we're like beating the team by like 50. And they're starting to put in all the second string guys. You know, we're not going to the playoffs. It's like little league. And they put me in a defensive end, and there's like 30 seconds left in the game. I end up getting like 2 sacks. And I was like, holy shit. I think we got something here.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, I love football. I couldn't wait to play the whole next year. But you never know. Like, you just don't quit 5 minutes for the miracle. But if I would have quit that day because it was so dumb, my mom would have been the person that's let me quit.
And nowadays, the parents will let you quit.
That's the problem. I was just going to say, that's the problem right there. Same with my kids. If you're going to play baseball, if you're going to play soccer, if you're going to play football, you're signing up. You're not quitting after a game. You're not quitting after 2 games. You're finishing the whole season. And then if you don't want to play baseball again, fine. But you're never going to quit.
Yeah.
But parents let him, he doesn't really like football. He got hurt. He got hit too hard.
Yeah.
Big deal.
So
if you're playing football, you know what you know what you're getting into. But I came home that day when I had to hold that bag, and I went to my grandpa and my mom. I said, I'm breaking every record. Why? I didn't even practice. I held the thing.
Cool.
And he,
Knocked
and
you back down.
you know what? Why do you think you're better than them? Because you broke some record?
Mhm.
You're a team.
Mhm.
Everybody on there is equal.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear about it again. Get ready for practice tonight. We're going outside. And that's how it went in my house. I mean,
I say the same thing to my teammates.
and not to interrupt you, but just agreeing with you,
Mhm.
looking back now,
Mhm.
that really did something to me in business. Oddly enough, holding that bag and dealing with it and having the discipline, because it wasn't just like one time.
Mhm.
You know, I was number one in Pennsylvania for
But
a while there until I get hit. And sometimes I would have to hold the bag. And I had a really good coach, really, really good coach. You know, this is back, 90s. And, you know, I dealt, and it gave me discipline, and it made me kind of not think that I believe that's one of many things that made me feel like I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. You're hanging out with Fabulous. I'm hanging out with Rob. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. You know, I drive a Porsche. You might drive a lowered Toyota Camry with a big exhaust on it.
Maybe.
I'm not better than you. You're
As
not
a matter
better
of
than me.
fact.
Can I hear it from a mile away? What kind of music you got playing with the windows down?
yeah, right.
I'm just messing with you.
No, it's funny.
It's bullying.
Yeah.
Here come the cops.
Yeah. Right. But
What were we going to say, Rob? I'm sorry. He wanted to ask you.
go ahead, Rob.
Just what you just said. You know, my dad used to always say, you get up in the morning, everybody puts their pants on the same way. He may have more money than you, but y'all put your pants on the same way.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all going to die.
Mhm.
My dad's thing, you're all going to die.
Mhm.
My dad would always tell people, you think your shit don't stink, don't you? Well, guess what? It stinks.
Yeah, and then there's people like in my place, you know, like I said, it's a small program, and the people who are a little further along in the program, they'll see someone new come in, and they'll come over to me and be like, man, Sean, like, is that guy gonna make it, or like, are they gonna be okay, or like they'll see something weird about the person or off, not even weird or off, just something that's not like them.
Yeah.
But it's just not like them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'll say, well, they're in here with you.
Good answer.
Like, you're in here together in the same place. Y'all both ended up here. So, like, who are you? And then when people give me a look like, well, who the hell are you? I'll be like, well, you're sitting across from me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm here.
like,
Yeah.
you're here seeing me. You called me.
Yeah.
You tell me who I am. You know? And it's just, people just, they forget. You know, no one has reminds them. That's part of the holding the bag. You know, work ethic. It's lost. Immediate gratification. It's too much. You know,
Immediate gratification. That is a big, big problem right now.
Big problem. I mean, you want it now. It's like everyone our age, you know, they want to go to college, you get I'm not saying a regular degree, because getting a degree in general is an accomplishment, but then they want to get out and they want to make 6 figures tomorrow. But, you know, like, I think I saw in the country, only 7% of people in this country make 6 figures.
Yeah.
7%. Right? So it's like, so you want to wake up and first day out of college and get a 6-figure job? Like, you got to start somewhere. It doesn't just happen that way unless you're going to be an entrepreneur. And even then, you're an entrepreneur. You don't just invent something on your first shot. I mean,
I've been doing marketing for 20 years. It took, I would say, a good 9 before it was really something. You know, but I never quit on it. You know what I mean? And I loved what I like it. You know, I enjoy it. I don't dread doing it. You know what I mean? And I have a temper. You know, a bad temper, but I keep it under control now through life skills, because it was bad. But I know, you know, like, I know who to fuck with and not to fuck with. But you know, that it just, you know, it's just, I just can't stress how much life skills, you know, that it's just sticking in my head, because it's really important. I mean, it really is.
So to wrap up how Rebound got to what it was, we volunteered at facilities all over the country. We went to the ones in Pennsylvania, the ones in Arizona, the ones in California, some of the ones down here. And we tried to see what they did and what made them good at what they do. And then we tried to see things like, we definitely don't want to do that. And we saw a lot more of, definitely don't want to do that. than, oh, that's a good idea. Like, we didn't say any of that. It was all pretty much the same. Like, even the places in California, I'm not going to name them, but we all know what they are. All they are mansions that are like 25 years old on the side of a mountain. And that's it. It's no better than here where they stick 15 people in a 3-bedroom house. It's the same thing. It's just you have a better view over there.
Yeah.
And you're not learning anything. I mean, these people are inhaling cigarettes. They essentially control their own program. They don't get any kind of physical activity. They're never pushed out of their comfort zone. You know, they're not challenged. They're simply asked, like you said before, how are you feeling? What bothered you today? Anything new? How does it make you feel? So what we started doing is we would say, hey, do you mind if we take them out and go paddleboarding? Something as simple as paddleboarding, right? And we go paddleboarding and like you learn really where people are at from balance and just learning something new. And you hear people say like, wow, I've never done anything like that before. Like I'll never forget this, paddleboarding with, Jayson Williams, right? Like, holy crap, people. And then that's where Jay and I looked at each other and said, we should just make a whole program just based off of that. And we started as an insurance-based, addiction treatment facility. And it got into eventually what we changed to where we are now as a holistic health and wellness, the complete umbrella, was because we saw, like you were saying before, all the BS with, well, first off, the bad rap South Florida has. I think New York had that big article where if you send your kids down to Florida, they're going to send them back in a body bag. Mm-hmm. I mean, the opioid epidemic was huge. And it's still an issue, especially now with meth coming back and these new drugs, the crocodile coming from like Alaska and Canada.
What the hell is that?
It's like a gas inhalant. It eats away your face from the inside out. Ugh. Yeah, and it just literally eats away your skin from the bottom layer out, and it'll just you inhale it and it just destroys you. It just comes out like pretty much your sinuses and your face.
And people are actually doing that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, but you've got things like, and now the marijuana thing is worse than ever because.
How do you feel about the marijuana laws? Or the drug in general?
It's tough. Like I said, look, there's people that can manage their lifestyles that way. But when anything becomes unmanageable, from drugs and alcohol to the gym to hobbies, then that person shouldn't be doing it. If it can be used in a controlled treatment type form for something that you have, whether it's anxiety or depression, and it works, and you're still able to lead a productive life, what can I say, right? I know at my program, we don't endorse it. But then again, we don't endorse energy drinks at our facility.
I better get rid of that monster.
No, it's okay. But like we don't.
And Juul in my hand.
Yeah, we're non-smoking.
Being very gentle with this.
No, we're a non-smoking facility. No vapes, no nicotine, no tobacco, no cigarettes, no cigars. The worst thing you'll have at our place is tea and coffee.
And the phone.
And your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, we don't, we promote healthy living all the way through and through. If you can't sit there in your room and be in your own head, then we're doing something wrong. And that's all we try and do here. And that's why it's just completely, as simple as it is, people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. Because what I can't tell you to get off of, stop drinking alcohol and stop doing heroin, but let you keep smoking cigarettes, kill more people than anything.
Do you know how many people I know that went to rehab, right? And they go in there, go to 2-3 meetings a day, and the rest of the time you're basically like in a hotel room, right? And everybody's smoking. And people that I know that got themselves in some type of addiction for whatever reason, I would say almost every one of them came out smoking. I'm like, and people like I would think would never smoke.
Well, that's how they kill time.
Yeah, you just smoke cigarettes
because it's a social thing. Like they just
there's nothing else to do.
Nothing to do, and you don't once again, when you're in rehab, very few people actually learn coping skills. Like you learn tools and you put them in your tool belt and you learn them and you get out, but you learn in 30 days.
Do you get a chip?
Yeah, well, it's but thing is that you go and it's not knocking the business, but that's all it is. It hasn't changed in 60 years. It's probably the only thing that hasn't changed in 50, 60 years is drug and alcohol rehab. It's the same. It's the same. But thing is that people have changed. How can people, it's just like the Constitution. People have changed. Times have changed. How can that stay the same? So it's you got to see what you're working with. Yeah. I'm not saying turn it on, flip the whole thing over and change the whole thing, but you need to monitor the situation and see, look, it's just like a sport. Every week is a new team. Same modality. It's still basketball. It's still football. It's just a different team. We got to go about this differently, right? Same thing in drug and alcohol rehab, anxiety and depression. It boils down to people skills, life skills, awareness, situational awareness, communication, reading people. I'm not saying you want to be like an FBI lie detector. I'm not asking people to do that. I'm just asking you to, Just put this down and just have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that. And you learn so much more. You learn so much. But the thing is that people get that mixed up with having conversations as far as, like, we sit and we go back and forth. We're all speaking to each other. Some people just let you speak and wait for you to finish just so they can speak. They don't even listen.
They're thinking about what they're going to say.
Taking in information, processing, delivering, thinking on your feet, just like being bullied. How can you perceive being bullied if you don't even know what it is? How can you react? How can you pivot? How can you come back with something? How can you defend yourself without having to get too violent?
From a person in this business, do you even know what the definition of bullying is anymore?
I had someone get upset at me one time because we were going jet skiing, and they're like, "I'm afraid," and I was like, "Get on the jet ski," and they started to cry, and I was like,
an
adult. It was a 55-year-old person, a woman, and I was like,
Jesus.
So I looked around and I was like, and everyone was like, "Why is she crying?" And I went over. I was like, "Are you okay?" And she said, "The way you just said that really hurt my feelings." Because your tone was like, you just had enough of what she said is, it sounds like you just had enough of my shit. You want me to shut up and get on the jet ski. And I was like, I have not had enough of your shit, but I do want you to shut up and get on this jet ski.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, because we're going to have a good time. But she would never had that conversation with me if I didn't walk over and have it.
Right.
It would have just been taken as bullying, right? She would have isolated herself from the group. It later would have been something where Sean said this to me a certain way, and God, he's probably just such a jerk and asshole, and he doesn't know what I'm going through. And it could have, if I didn't just walk over and just have that conversation, right? Have the empathy. I'm not saying I'm a communication master, but just say, hey.
And get rid of the egotistic
what's going
attitude,
on?
right?
Yeah, like, I'm here with you. Like, you're literally getting on the jet ski with me. Like, I have just as much to lose as you do. We're in this together.
And you could have said, hey, I'm hanging out with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Jayson Williams is my partner, honey.
Mm.
You don't want to go? You're getting on there. But you had the non-egotistic attitude, narcissist attitude to go over and say, hey, what's going on there?
Yeah. Well, it's the ones that do wisen up will see that. They'll say, Sean, you're a young guy. You're 32. You could be fighting professionally in MMA. You know all the people. You know all the guys fighting on TV. You could be doing that. But you're here with us. And thing is that, like, I'm not bad. Like, you can jump on me and find out,
Yeah.
Like, So I'm not a bad guy, like a fighter, like anything. Like, it's just, I'm looking long term.
Yeah.
And it's tough to be, and I don't even like being called that. I like being called a martial artist and someone who's bigger than that, right?
And that art isn't going to last till you're 80. This could last a long
It's
time.
tough to be lumped in with people who, normally go through a lot of, they're a bunch of tattooed tough guys and, domestic abuse things, and they're not really controlled. Like, as much as I love Conor McGregor, like we were talking about earlier, like,
He's
has not been the most positive.
I think he needs to go to Rebound.
Right.
I'm wearing a Conor McGregor shirt as we speak.
But like, even Bones Jones, like, he's probably the best fighter of all time. Look at his background. Like, there's just guys that you look at fighters nowadays and not martial artists. Like GSP, that guy, I think he has a quote himself. He said, a fighter is one thing. A fighter is a brute. A fighter is primal. A fighter will fight to the end, and that's great. But a martial artist is someone who seeks perfection every day, not knowing that they're never going to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
To be better every day.
Well, it is an art if you think about it.
100%. I mean, that's how I want to be at my place with these guys. It's like every day. That's why I do little, interesting fasting things. I just recently cut meat out of my life for no reason. I've never done it. I gave it up for Lent. I've never done it. I never believed in it. I tried it. I learned a new trick. Old dogs do learn new tricks. At 32 years old, I feel better than ever. It's like, but I'm still going to have a steak and a burger if it calls for that. Like July 4th, I had 4 hamburgers. But then I go back to what I was doing.
I don't eat much meat either. When I went to more green vegetables and things like that, and meat, if I want a cheesesteak on a cheat day or something, it's like I'm not a vegetarian.
But
I just choose, and I feel better eating like that anyway.
You're choosing, and it's okay. And you're not a glutton. You're not overdoing
I'm not
it.
Gluten organic bullshit that isn't probably organic.
I'm saying you're not doing the act of gluttony. You're not overdoing it.
Right.
Just because you have bacon every morning because you live in the USA doesn't mean we have bacon every morning. You know what I'm saying? Like if like for me, I know that because I love bacon.
Do you like it crispy and hard or like softer?
In the middle. I like when the edges are crispy and the middle is like chewy, but like honey smoked.
Oh, honey smoked.
Like that honey
See,
smoked.
I like turkey bacon. I like turkey bacon.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see you that you like the crunch.
I like a little of both. Like my filet mignon, I like a Pittsburgh style. It's
What do
like,
you get?
So it's like
medium
medium Pittsburgh
well?
style.
Yeah, that's right.
Medium
Medium well.
Pittsburgh style. But thing is that, well, once again, I'm never gonna overdo it, but I'll do other things to challenge myself and try and get better all the time. I got to figure it out because otherwise I'm just getting older, right? I'm just getting older. I'm not getting better. I'm just gonna be the same. It's like business. Business is never complacent. Even if you're doing the same numbers every single day, someone else is doing better than you. Therefore, you're going down.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. But if you go up, then you're either keeping up or maybe surpassing someone, but you're with the competition. You can't stop. So I got to do the same thing for myself.
I got the same routine every single day, and if I don't do it, it drives me nuts. Wake up, coffee monster, you know. I take way too much caffeine, whatever, and smoke Juul, which I probably shouldn't do. But if I wanted to quit, I could, but I just don't want to.
Of course you could.
Yeah. No, if I wanted to. I'm saying if I wanted to.
I'm just kidding, yeah.
But I just don't want to. But if I wanted to and it became a situation, then I would
Have no
just say,
reason.
fuck it.
You have no reason.
No reason.
Right.
I don't care. Treadmill, sweatshirts on, everything, like sauna suit.
Garbage bag suit.
Yeah. Go from treadmill, 30 minutes, to a sauna I put in my office. I built a sauna in there.
Very
You got it
nice.
on Amazon. $1,200 for the last 3 years. No problems.
That's great.
Sit in there for 30 minutes. And at 22, 23, I want to get the hell out. You know, it's hot. Stop. And then I built a gym out back. Go work out. If I don't go bang, bang, bang every day, my day is just not, I'm not in a good mood.
That's why I do it in the morning, right?
Oh, yeah, I
You
do it in the morning. Yeah,
because
yeah.
things always come up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm never gonna make it to the gym tonight. Good thing I went this morning. I'm getting phone calls, texts. You know, it's like
Yeah, I'll get you out of here.
I'll never. No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying in general.
Yeah.
So it's like that'll never happen.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why it's got to be first thing in the morning. You feel so much better. You feel like you've beat the world to the punch.
And when you don't feel that, and when you don't do it, it feels like something's missing all day, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, you solved all your problems before 7 a.m. where people are going to show up to work at 9 with all their problems. So they got to catch up with yesterday's problems, this morning's problems, the other side of the world's problems, and then accomplish the things that they have coming at them that day.
and for me, you see, in my sauna, it's glass window. So my desk is here. So I turn the monitor around, put a table in the sauna with a keyboard and a monitor. So now I can work while I'm in there for 30 minutes. So I'm doing two things at once.
Right.
When I'm on the treadmill, I do interval. So I can answer some emails, put the phone back up, run, stop. You know what I mean? So I'm working and getting my physical training in to feel better. You know what I mean? And then I don't eat. I go treadmill, sauna, granola bar, one little granola bar, work out. It's hard because I'm hungry, but I push myself to do it. You know what I mean?
You have to.
And then when I go and I have a cheat day, because, you know, like usually like Wednesdays and Saturdays is a cheat day, I'll eat whatever I want. And then I go back to the peas, broccoli. I don't eat a lot of bullshit, processed shit. I think that's what's giving people a lot of cancer.
If it's manageable, what the hell?
It's
right?
working.
But
Not dead.
right, you're not dying. It's not killing you. I'm sure there's worse things, right? But like I said, for everything, you know, when it becomes unmanageable, it could be drinking water, you know, anything. If it deters you from getting where you need to be, not just in your life, but to be a contributing member of society, right, and not hurt anybody, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. It's a problem.
So sum up Rebound. So, you know, if somebody wants to come and get your help, you only take very few. So, you know, you're probably booked out for a while. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we have a waiting list because once again, it's one of those things where
it just depends.
It just depends. And
So-
just the way he works, like I always say, the way, you know, Big Man
Yeah.
upstairs works, you know, he just always keeps us right where we need to be. And it's funny because he always sends certain people to be around certain people in the program. Like, I'm never like, wow, these people should not be here at the same time. It's like people show up all from different walks of life. And I'm like, wow, this couldn't have worked out any better because this person needs to see how this person lives. This person needs to see what this person looks like. This kid needs to see how it looks like for here. This person, it's
competition for you and him too.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. Like sometimes.
And I say that in a way of like, you have all these different walks of life and you have to figure out how you're going to get this to work.
Yeah, I gotta get with my staff and I gotta go, how are we gonna, you know, luckily the way the program works is I just get people ticking. and then there's a lot of processing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great, but it's like you said, it's a challenge. It's fun. It keeps me going. It keeps me accountable. Same with Jay. It keeps him healthy. You know, and I could say even for him now, he's coming on to 6 years sobriety soon. He's doing so well.
Congratulations to Jay.
Yeah,
I'm
big
sure
fella.
he'll watch this. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Watch you all the time in the NBA, man.
Yeah.
You're a beast.
Yeah, he is.
And now you're a beast again.
And he's still doing it. you
Still
know?
doing it. Doing his thing.
And he's just he's incredible, man. It wouldn't go without him, like I always say. And you know, I think we have the best program in the world.
It sounds phenomenal. You know, it sounds great.
Thanks.
It sounds really great. And I know it's kind of more of a private thing. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, they'll find you, right? Is that kind of how you go about it?
Yeah, pretty much. We have a phone number you can reach us by. It's 877, the number 2, and then the word Rebound.
Okay.
You spell it out, you look up your phone and hit the letters to the number on there, and you'll get one of our staff to speak with you and help guide you through the steps. Any kind of information you want, we'll get it to you just to learn more about the program. And if it sounds like something you could use, you know, we're the place.
Okay, and I'll put that in the description. You'll text me all that just so I have everything and things are right.
Mm.
Do you want to pull up one of your sites that you have up that we had up there?
Oh no, man.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. You're really doing a great thing. So is Jayson. I'm happy for both of you. You guys are awesome people, and you're helping people.
Mm.
You seem happy. You got your shit together.
Yeah,
you know?
I did. Thank God for that. I mean, this keeps me sane. I don't know what I would do.
And I appreciate your time. Yeah. I know how it is. 3 hours is 3 hours. But thank you for coming in, man.
Hey,
I
man,
really
was
do
great.
appreciate it. And I learned. I learned some shit. I know that.
Good. I'm glad.
And you know,
stuff.
Rob has some kids too, and you know,
Yeah.
good stuff. It's
Good.
good stuff. You're doing a great thing. I'm proud of you. I mean, this is the first
Thank
time
you.
meeting, but I'm proud of you, and I mean that with my heart. And I wish you all of success, and hopefully you come back in and tell me some more fun stuff that you're taking the teammates on.
For sure.
And I love that. He calls them teammates.
Teammates, man.
Yeah, that fucking fuck that patient word. I'm the one swearing.
They say
you know.
George Wallace. He's a friend of the program, comedian George Wallace. He says the reason why they call us patients, doctors, is because we always show up for our appointment, and then they still make us wait 45 minutes before we can see them. That's why you gotta have patience.
See, I don't like the word addiction. I don't like the word disease. I don't like the word patient because addiction can be fixed. A disease, unless it's cancer, can be fixed.
It could be managed.
It can be managed. A patient is like, oh, well, you're a patient.
Mm-hmm.
A teammate. Shit, I'm a teammate with this guy. I mean, no offense to you.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll let you get out of here. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me, Tommy. Rob, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother.